O'clock. I'm Joseph Bonanno live from the 104.5 The Zone Studios. The Tennessee Titans held a post-draft press conference today with Titans President of Operations Chad Brinker and General Manager Mike Bergonzi as they were asked about building a foundation with the 2025 draft class.
It's important to us that we were going to build this thing with a strong foundation, and I think it was well documented on the character of these individuals that we brought into this football team. Now, we expect them to come in and learn how to be a pro and be the guys that we think they can be to really help change the culture around here. And I know that takes some time, but it starts with getting really good football players in here who are also really good people.
In other Titans news, it was reported by Neil Stratton today that A.J. Highsmith will not return as the director of scouting with the Titans as Mike Bergonzi reshapes his staff. For our foundation repair, waterproofing needs, you need to visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Balls. This is 104.5 The Zone.
.3HL 104.5 The Zone. What up, Nashville? Hope you had a great weekend. The NFL draft has come and gone, and now it's time to evaluate. Brent Doherty, Don Davenport, and Ron Slay with you. We're going to jump right in with our guy, Mike Detillier, NFL draft expert forever. Mike, what's up? How are you?
I'm doing fine, thank you.
I'm going to save the Cam Ward because we did that on Friday. So let's start with Oladejo, the edge rusher from UCLA. Inside linebacker, then moves to the edge, kind of like the guy from Penn State. But only 10 games at edge. What did you see in this guy?
Well, it's so funny. I went back when UCLA played LSU at Baton Rouge. He was my spotlight player on defense for the Bruins, and he's much better out on the edge. You can see the athletics. Go ahead.
No, I'd said, is he? He's better outside.
Oh, yeah, no question about it. I think he's much better outside where you can take advantage of his athleticism and his speed. His closing speed is really, really good. And in sort of the first year in that defense, you could see his explosiveness, his ability to run the field well. LSU had some difficulties, especially in the first half, sort of matching up with him because they would constantly move him around a little bit. So you see his pass rush and pass rush potential coming off the edge. But I'm so impressed with his knowledge of the game, his intelligence, his fervor for football, and his ability to get up the field and quickly. If you don't get your hands on him and fast, you in trouble because he does not only have pass rush potential and pass rush ability, but it's his chase down skills that are very, very good. So I was really impressed with him going into the LSU game, impressed with him afterwards and watching him for the Bruins. He was one of the few bright spots other than Carson on defense for the Bruins, to be honest with you. They had that twosome, and they basically kind of held fort for what they were working with last year at UCLA defensively.
So you see kind of a high ceiling for him with a little more room to grow, having only played 10 games in that spot?
Yes, very much so. And, again, you rarely see an athlete that can move the way he can. He's in that group where you can see he's still fully learning the position, but it's rare that you have a big man that can run the field like what he could. And when he got picked, it was the first thing that popped into my mind was that because in doing 2.5 hours for LSU pregame, he was the one defensive guy that we really took a long look at because we had talked so much earlier in the week about Swigger and how he would be an impact player on the game. It was also Oladejo and his pass rush skills, and Could he be a difference maker in the second half of that game when you knew LSU was going to try to wear him down in that heat of Baton Rouge, and you played that game at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And, man, woo-wee, it was hot that day. And they stuck UCLA on that side where you caught that heat. I know Don can talk about it. If you in that heat on that other side of the field in Baton Rouge come late September, there ain't no machine to get you cool. I can tell you that.
Mike Detillier with us, breaking down the Titans draft class.
Yeah, that heat is different. I wasn't prepared when Tennessee played down there, Mike. And at one point in the fourth quarter, I was feeling an outside of body experience. I felt like I was watching myself watch the game. That's how hot it was, dog.
Yeah, it's so funny when people are, oh, man, I'm used to the heat. I played in 90-degree weather. Yeah, you play in 90-degree weather, but you ain't playing with it when it's 95-degree humidity.
Yeah.
And they stick you. I remember Auburn a few years back. This is when Coach O was coaching, and, man, Auburn had a big lead in the first half. LSU makes a touchdown late in the second quarter to close it up. And it almost felt as though you saw a flower wilt in front of you in the second half. They stuck Auburn out on that other side of the field, and you catch that direct heat, and DJ Chalk runs a punt back for a touchdown. With DJ, either he fumbled it or bobbled it or he ran it all the way back. It was one of the three. And that day, he ran it all the way back. And you just saw the Auburn players, and you heard that kind of loud, man, that rough.
Hey, man, listen, another guy, tell me your thoughts on Kevin Winston Jr. at the safety spot coming out of Penn State.
He was, before the season, he was my 31st ranked player in this draft class.
Wow.
I really thought a lot of him. He was one of the leaders on defense. I got to talk to Mike Marty, Rich Marty's son. I do a TV show with Rich every week. And Mike, I think he's the top guy for NIL for Penn State. And he was telling me, man, I agree with you. He is such a great leader. He's the intimidator out on the field for Penn State in the secondary. But he's the communicator. He's the chirper. He sort of chirps it, and he knows what to do, but he gets everybody else in a position to make sure that they're not out of alignment. And then he goes down early with the injury. Mm-hmm. And so we didn't get to really see that Kevin Austin for a long period of time. I think he missed 14 games this year. And so this happened real early in the season. So if he's healthy, man, he brings you that to the table. You didn't cross the – now, you can't hit people like you used to be able to hit anymore, but he made you sort of pay the price if you went across the middle. But what I liked is his ability to communicate and put people in the right position. Very smart, very athletic player. Always was good against the rim, but I thought a year ago what I saw a big change in him was his ability to cover. I thought he made a dramatic improvement in that area.
Mike Detillier with us, talking about the Titans draft class on the radio. Let's go to Florida. DK, we've all seen a lot of him. 6'1", 196, ran that 4.34. What do you think about him?
Well, he looked a lot better later in the year when they had a quarterback that could actually get him the football.
Right.
I mean, before, God bless him. I mean, he was a dink and dunk guy. He couldn't break a pane of glass if it was in front of him. And so here you got a guy that averaged almost 19 yards a catch. And when you saw the young freshman get in there, he was, man, I love to chunk it downfield, and that's what I'm going to do because he gets open. And you saw him pull away from people where I think he physically has got to get a little bit stronger in his ability to work the short and immediate parts of the game. He gives you that big play element over the top. So I'm going to throw this back to Ward. one of the things you saw what Miami did early in a game, because the safety would never be in the box against them, because he was always scared that, Cam's going to hit a deep pass. So what Miami did a lot early in the season or early in games was throw these little wide receiver screens or screens out to Damian Martinez. And so it forced the safety to come up a little closer in the box. And I think that's the thought process here, is that Cam's really good in the short intermediate part of the game, but then I can hit you deep downfield. And they did that a lot with Elijah Aurora, the tight end. They caught him down that seam, and bang, I mean, he's out of there. So I think they see the same thing here, in that you have a big play element that he can get downfield. And bringing in Tyler Lockett right before the draft, he gives you that element of that little short game, almost like an extended handoff. And so now safeties are going to have to respect speed downfield, but also you in a chess match here because of what Lockett can do in that little wide receiver screen, break one tackle, and then he's off to the races.
See, and he can do that even, as an older, aging wide receiver, right?
You got another seam threat that you're going to ask about.
Yes. Gunnar Helm, let's go. I like this guy.
I told this to Arch Manning when he came to Manning Passing Academy. Hey, get the football more to Gunnar Helm. And he was like, Mr. Mike, I'm going to try. So, but, he wasn't the guy all the time. But what I see in Gunnar is he's a big, tall wide receiver playing tight end. He does get in the way. He's not a slam bam type run blocker, but he don't have to be. Because I get him on my show all the time. Oh, I want a tight end that crush the guys in front. What? I just don't want the guy to make a play. Come on, meathead. I want a guy that can catch the football, and on running plays, if he can angle block or just make sure his man doesn't make the tackle, that's what I'm looking for. Gunnar Helm is a really good pass-catching tight end. He's got strong hands. He runs down the middle of the field very well.
Yeah.
And now you've got a 6'5", 255-pound guy running downfield. You see a lot of Ole moves of people trying to get out of his way or try to low bridge him to knock him down. I'm surprised he lasted as long as he did. I think it's pick 120 overall. And I had him as a top 100 pick because I thought in that offense that he was underutilized as a receiver. I really did. And just by the way, Little Arch made the comment to me, I get that he thought that way too, that, hey, we got to get him more involved in our offense, vertically downfield.
Let's go, Elik Iomanor. Is that it? Manor? Iomanor. That's it. Stanford.
These names are brutal in this class.
Iomanor. I just hadn't looked at it in a while. I did practice in the mirror earlier.
Well, one thing with Elik, he played on a lousy team, and he was one of the few bright spots Stanford had. What I categorize, he's more of a middle-range target because of his size, and he can catch the ball really well in the middle range part of the field. What I mean from 8 to 14 yards, that's where he's most effective. He's got a little giddy up after the step, and if you watch the game against Colorado, nobody gave Travis Hunter more problems than he did. He had the ability to kind of spin you around. He is a really good route runner, Canadian kid that came to Stanford. Only thing I know is that, you're not getting into Stanford with an expired driver's license. I mean, you gotta be a smart dude to get to Stanford. And you just saw his steady improvement along the way, but man, he was on a bad team. But he wasn't bad. He was a very good player, in whatever they want to call with Stanford. With the ACC now, it's sort of weird.
Yeah.
An ACC team, but I liked him a lot. I thought he was 105 on my board, and he goes 135. So that's pretty good value there.
The game against Colorado that you mentioned, 13 receptions, 294 yards, and 3 touchdowns, and a lot of that on Travis Hunter.
Those are the highlights they showed every time.
Every play. Why wouldn't you, right? And it is Io Manor. We checked. Io Manor.
Yeah, Io Manor. And here's the thing. He don't say nothing. But I talked to coaches there that's, like receivers. Man, you can't get him to shut up most of the time. With Alec, you can't get him to say anything. I mean, he just goes out, does his business. And the other thing, too, about him is he's a really solid downfield blocker. When I watch tape on him, one of the things I watch on receivers, are they willing to throw you a block downfield? Now, some are, some tell you they do, and some do it. So there's 3 different kinds of receivers as far as blockers. Because the guys that tell you they do when you don't see it, that means they're not doing it.
Yeah. Can't lie about your golf game either. But the eye in the sky don't lie, right, Mike?
That's right.
All right, Mike Detillier with us on 3HL.
Mike, we needed to get some help for Big Jeff around here, and with Harold Landry being gone, they bring in Oladejo. What's your thoughts on him?
Well, with Oladejo, I think that he immediately can help you in the pass rush part of the game. Immediately. Because you can see he has got that skill set that he can do that and do that very well. Now, the one thing they will have to work with him is what I would call a counter move to his speed move. Because he's winning at the collegiate level with a speed move. Now, he's got to have a little bit of a counter to get off of that, to be able to have a spin move or a swim move to get off of a much bigger tackle than what he has seen at the collegiate level. And once these guys sort of know you're sort of in that lane of that's what you're going to give me, I'm going to stop you if you don't have a counter move. That's the one thing with Oladejo that he's going to have to work on.
So are there traits that you can kind of see? I mean, we always talk about that, the counter move, and some guys develop it at the next level and some guys don't. And that's kind of if they hit or not in the NFL, right? So are there traits that you can see that he maybe has the ability or the traits to be able to develop that counter move? Does that make sense?
Yeah, Dawn, I think it's his feet that tells me he can develop that.
Okay.
A lot of times guys that just have that speed move, it's just one cut up the field. They get off the snap up the field. And then I get my hands on you, and then I steer you. The one thing with Oladejo is he's got good feet, and he can move them around a little bit. Partially that is him playing at inside linebacker. Okay, a lot of that is, come on, if you're even a 255-pound linebacker, if you're up against a 325-pound guy, you're not going to physically beat him all the time. What you want to do is to get around him. You want to try to get around that heavy traffic. So with that footwork Oladejo has, I think he's got the ability to work himself kind of through that speed move and then to turn that speed move into a power speed move to get around you. And using your feet is the best way to do it.
Perfect. Very interesting. Last one from me for you. Undrafted free agent. You know, we got to bring it up because we had Cam Ward on our show on Friday, and we were talking about the second pick, and he was like, well, Borgonzi knows who I want, and that's my receiver in Xavier Restrepo. He goes undrafted. 40 time probably killed him on that one, even though he ran it injured. But what do you think about him and his game and him being back with Cam?
Okay, when you watch the Hurricanes play,
I did.
Certainly Cam Ward jumped out at you.
Yeah.
So did Arroyo at tight end.
Yep.
So did Xavier.
Yep.
He is a really good route runner, and he is what I call a corkscrew guy. He runs a route and he kind of corkscrews the defensive back. You know, he's trying to figure out a way to counter what Xavier's giving him as a route runner. Is he the fastest guy around? No. You could tell he didn't have, and I know he was not healthy when he ran that bad time, but he's shifty. He can make a catch in traffic. He is supremely confident out on the field that I'm going to beat you. One way or another, I'm going to beat you. Now, he's not the biggest guy around. He reminds me a little bit of Barrios, who came out a few years back, who played with the Jets and had a similar type physical trait to him. Barrios was a little bit faster. I think Xavier's a little better route runner coming out of Miami or Florida. And there is that connection, with him and Cam. I know where you're going to be out on the field. You're not going to drift. And, guys, I think a lot of times we blame this on the quarterback. But a receiver, instead of a 10-yard pass, he'll drift either to 12 yards or he'll go 8.5. And they'll say, oh, the quarterback, man, what a bad throw. Hey, receiver, run the route right. And that was a stickler here with Drew. He was like, hey, listen, I'm going to put the ball where it's supposed to be. Just run the route at the length it's supposed to be. Don't cut it off short. Don't go too deep on it. Be where you're supposed to be. And I always think of that when I watch certain players, and some of them overextend the route, some of them cut it off. The one thing with Xavier, if it's a 10-yard route, he's running it 10. If it's a 15-yard route, he's running it 15. And that's where a guy like Cam Ward has so much confidence in him, because of the fact he's going to be where I think he's going to be at on every play.
Great stuff, Mike. Appreciate you hopping on, man, to start our post-draft show. Thank you, buddy.
Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
All right, there he is, Mike Detillier on 3HL. All right, if you want to weigh in, what do you think about the Titans draft class, or maybe your favorite team? 615-737-1045.
All right, Pella Windows and Doors of Nashville. Pella is celebrating 100 years in business this year. What does that mean for you? Well, that means that it's a company you can trust. It's a company that does things right. And there's no way in the world they'd be around for 100 years if they didn't. Lifetime warranties on all of their windows and doors. And on top of that, Pella Windows and Doors of Nashville also backs their work up with warranty and offers a 10-year labor warranty, which is leading in the industry. They have the staff in place to support you, the customer. Pella Windows and Doors of Nashville are the best. I've used them and actually are just adding another new door to the house. Also, they want to give you a deal. The Dawn deal is what we call it. We change it every month. And this month, couple days left, 55% off qualifying installations and no interest if paid in full within 12 months. No promo payments due, plus an additional $250 off of your order. This one's the best one yet. New doors, new windows, you need them. Now's a great time. Schedule a free consultation online. Just go to PellaNashville.com.
3HL 1045, The Zone. Brent Doherty, Don Davenport, Ron Slay with you. Titans draft class is in. They did get that third-round pick. They did trade back from 35.
I knew they were. I was glad they did.
And so was able to get some value, too.
Cam Ward, number one, we had him on the show live at 6 in Peabody on Friday, and all I came away with, like, this confidence thing that we hear about all the time is real. He ain't faking nothing.
But it's not annoying. It's
No.
not like
No,
arrogant.
not at all.
It doesn't. It's hard to explain because it's not arrogance.
No, because he's still
It's just
smiling and having a
confident.
good time, but he's just like,
It's just not in your face.
Is that the difference?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, it's not in your face, but it's
like I'm not trying to
it's just-
sell you how confident I am.
Well,
right. I'm just good with being me and believing that I am the
Yeah,
best.
like if you ask me, I'm going to tell you.
Yeah.
It's kind of like matter of fact with him.
But it's likable.
No, it is.
It's very
No,
likable.
it's what is this?
Welcoming.
Yes.
Like I want to be around that.
It's a
Yes.
magnet. He's a magnet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
And
a
you
magnet.
know where it comes from because you
Yep.
said hi to his parents
Mm-hmm.
and watched how they kind of carry themselves and the whole family. You
Talking
know?
to his dad for 10 seconds.
Yeah.
You could automatically see it. Like,
Yeah.
whoa, I got you.
So I talked with after he left. During one of the breaks, a couple wanted to take a picture with us, and we did. And then I started talking to the guy, and the gentleman was like, I was solid team trade down. I just think there are too many holes. They need more picks, more draft capital, all this. And he goes, I even thought that after they picked him. But I come here and I see this, and I watch him interact with y'all, and I hear what he has to say, and I watch how he projects himself, and he goes, That's the franchise right there. Like he completely flipped just spending 20 minutes watching an interview with him on stage.
Yep. I can say how captivating he was. I can only imagine how the interview process went. It's an air. It's an air about himself. He has an aura.
One of the things that, again, if you want to hear our conversation with him, you can, where you get your podcast, get the 3HL podcast, and search out Cam Ward on the show. It happened on Friday, about 4:20 p.m. Also on the YouTube feed, Zeph?
Yes, you can go watch it on YouTube as well.
There you go. One of the things he talked about was one of the things we were just talking about, his leadership skills. Where did this part of him come from?
I just think all the 3 stops I made in college, from UIW to Wazoo to Miami, and just also actually getting to know my teammates. And I think every year of my career I've grown better as a person. I got a chance to just study the game more and get better each and every day. And also comes with just having unbelievable work ethic and confidence in yourself. That's something that I just think I was born with, I was destined to do. But, I'm happy that, he said those good things about me because they are true. And I plan on doing the same things here with my teammates.
It was one of his
there it is.
teammates talking about him.
It's a good. Listen, I'm always, I'm huge peers. Getting the information from peers, what they think about you. They will never lie. They will never. They may not give you everything. You know what I'm saying?
No,
to
I
protect
see that
people,
a
but
lot, though. You can tell in the way a teammate answers a question about their quarterback or their teammate, how they really feel about him.
Yep.
I see it all the time where, like, what they're saying is, oh, yeah, he's
Yep.
great. And then I'm like, nope, you actually don't respond to
Right.
him. And I can tell in the way you answer that.
How quick
but
they ready to
then-
move on and all that. Yep.
Yeah, but Restrepo, his response about Cam to me, and then Mayer had all those quotes from his teammate. I mean, you clearly see the influence and effect he has on his team.
Yeah, this from Justin Mello, who did a great piece prior to the draft from Titan Size and talked with Restrepo, Kyle Williams, and Samuel Brown Jr. Kyle Williams talking about this confidence quote, and this is what Cam was talking about at the end of that cut. Kyle Williams said, he comes off a little nonchalant, but that's just a testament to how confident he is in his game and his preparation. Restrepo said, you'd be in the huddle thanking the Lord that he's touching the ball every play. He's just an absolute game changer as an athlete. The game never felt over because we had Cam under center.
It's a great place to be.
What, that was Restrepo was my favorite quote too. Men lie, women lie, numbers never lie. All you have to do is look at the numbers. You can't tell me he didn't completely change this program around when he got here.
615-737-1045 at 3HL 1045. Let's go to Zach in Nashville. Zach, what's up?
Yeah, that's a good one right there, Zach.
You think that's a good point?
Mm-hmm.
Zach, you're up.
Hello?
Oh, I'm here. I'm sorry. My bad. I was muted. Yeah, so I see everybody's excited about the whole Cam Ward thing. The one thing that I can't get excited for is I've watched this franchise. I'm 23 years old, and I've been watching since I've been old enough to watch football. And every time we get a quarterback, they do this same exact thing. They get everybody hyped in, they sell a bunch of tickets, and then it's vanished.
Well,
So
just keep in mind, though, that they've never drafted a quarterback number 1 overall, and that goes back to the Oilers.
True.
That goes back to the AFL. And this is a different organization now. I mean, I get it franchise-wise, and I understand the skepticism for sure, but I don't know. I just feel hope with this guy.
Yeah, well, sell me on why you think he's going to fit well in this offense, and I'll shut up and I'll listen. Thank you.
I mean, we've had 8 million guests on to tell you that answer.
Also, I think he would fit well in every offense with his skill set and what he can do. Callahan knows how to deal with a talented rookie quarterback because he's done it before multiple times. I get not as a head coach or necessarily as a play caller when it comes to Joe Burrow, but he understands kind of the transition and development from collegiate level to the NFL level because he's had to see it and deal with it at the quarterback position with a quarterback that has the talent and the skill set like Cam Ward does, the arm strength, the knowledge part of it. And to your question, Zach, tell me why we have hope that he would be it. I think you saw what he did on the field for Miami, but it's also the behind the scenes from a standpoint of studying, willingness to take coaching and get better, willingness to look at his game and say, this is where I'm not good enough right now at the NFL level. So what do I have to and what can I do to make sure that I better that part of my game? The coaches that he's played for, and we're about to have one on this show, as a matter of fact. Eric Norris is going to join us, who actually recruited him in high school. But the coaches that he's played for talked about the brain part of it and how smart he is and how willing he is to dive into that. And I always go back to VY. There was nobody more talented than VY, right? Mm-hmm. But he didn't have the between the ears part of it from a studying, learning a playbook, wanting to make sure that he was in and would get better because he had always relied on his athleticism. Right. Not the case for Cam Ward.
And when you look at Cam Ward,
well done.
That was really, really well done. I think one of the things you also have to understand is any franchise that takes a quarterback, they're supposed to believe in him. They wouldn't have never taken him. So I think that's one part of it. The other part of it is watching his journey, man. Like if you – he went to Incarnate Word. Like I guarantee people still don't know what that is. So to be able to climb and pick yourself up by the bootstraps and then make the most of it, and like he said, not complain. Like he was telling the coach, you asked him there, man, don't you want to throw something? He's like, man, yeah, I kept on telling him I wanted to throw something, but he put the offense around him. That offense was successful. He left there, went to Washington State, came to Miami. That's just who they are. What you got, Babs?
In the chat, Wallace Dooley said, Cam is not a good fit for the Titans offense.
How do you know
what the hell is the Titans offense?
No, and that's what I think people are not figuring out. This is what I was leading to. He's been in so many different programs. The offense is catered to him.
Yeah.
Like what
that's what good coaches and franchises do.
Exactly.
Look, this is our super talented number 1 overall draft pick. Guess what we're going to do? Whatever the hell he does really well that will help us win games. And Brian Callahan has said that.
Yeah.
So, and also, what is this offense?
Yeah.
What was it last year? What do you mean it's not a fit? Why? Because of why?
Yeah.
And guess what? I mean, they just drafted a whole slew of new offensive players, too. Like, what do you – I mean, you don't even know what this offense is.
Whatever it is,
it's completely different personnel, too.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
well, and I'll go back to this. Again, to your point, what is the Titans offense under Brian Callahan? He told you in a 90-minute interview that he couldn't run his offense last year because his quarterback skills didn't match what they wanted to do. Yep. And so now they've had all this time to basically – decide if Cam Newton wasn't the pick at 1. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. And they came away with all of that, talked to everyone around him at every level and talked with him and all these things and decided that he is the guy to run that offense. So with all due respect, Wallace, respectfully disagree. 615-737-1045.
If Brian Callahan doesn't cater his offense to what Cam Ward does well,
He will be catered out of here.
he will absolutely endure the wrath of Miss Amy, and there will be a new coach here.
Let's go to
No real fans or butts.
Let's go to Tristan next up. 615-737-1045. Tristan, what's up?
Hey, thank you for taking my call. I like the wide receivers we got, the tight end we got. I wish we had gotten another running back like Cam Scatterbo, who's going to New York Giants. I'll give Cam a year. Yes, I hope he turns out great. I give the tight ends a B+. That's my grade on it. I wish we had gotten like another defensive end, but I like some of the undrafted free agents we got. And so, yes, I love Cam Scatterbo, and yes, let's go.
I know you do, man.
We know you love him.
Thank you, Tristan. Tristan's a big Arizona State fan. We love Cam Scatterbo also, but where did he go? Did he go in the 4th round? So if you're taking him, then you're missing out on DK Helm, Io Manor, to get a 3rd running back, right?
Yeah, he went, what is this, 4th round?
Yeah.
3rd pick in the 4th round.
By the way, do y'all get into these draft grades? I'm like, I don't know how you can grade a draft because you really don't know anything about how these guys fit and all this stuff. But
That's the biggest thing for me.
Chad Reuter had 5 A's in the draft grades that he did, and the Titans were one of them for whatever that's worth.
Good for Neil.
When we come back, Cam Ward's head coach at Incarnate Word, now the head coach at North Texas State, Eric Morris. He also was the OC at Washington State with Cam and played for Mike Leach at Texas Tech. 615-737-1045, always a number. Cam's Incarnate Word head coach, Eric Morris, next, 3HL. I want to tell you about Ferguson Home, fergusonhome.com. And by the way, it's North Texas. University of North Texas? UNT, University of North Texas. FergusonHome.com is the website. Bring your vision to Ferguson Home where it all comes together. Visual comfort accompanying lighting. Elevate your home with lighting that's timeless and beautiful. Luxury lighting with timeless materials and expert craftsmanship. One of the products you'll see at Ferguson Home. Any of the locations, pick one that's closest to you. The new one, Mount Juliet at Providence Marketplace, Powell Avenue in Nashville, New Salem Road in Murfreesboro, West Dunbar Cave Road in Clarksville, Lovers Lane, Bowling Green. If you're a homeowner creating your dream space, then look no further than Ferguson Home. Ferguson Home has the best selection of bath, kitchen, and lighting for any of your home projects. Not sure where to start, how to get a beautiful finished project? Let Ferguson Home help you out. Book an appointment at your local showroom and get firsthand knowledge and personalized experts to help you every step of the way. Ferguson Home, bring your vision to Ferguson Home where it all comes together. FergusonHome.com. 3HL 1045 The Zone. Brent Doherty, Don Davenport, a dancing Don Davenport. Ron Slay with you.
What up, dog?
Post NFL draft.
What's happening?
What? This is like the perfect intro song for our next guest, Coach.
Yep, we had Cam Ward live at 6th and Peabody on Friday. He was incredible. Now we get the guy that brought him to play college football, University of North Texas football coach Eric Morris joins us now on 3HL. Eric, what's up? How are you?
I'm doing good. Cam's too young. I don't know if he'd know that song. That's my days. I was bobbing my head with that one.
Dude, you're not even 40. Stop.
I'm almost there.
You're talking to some old heads in here, Coach. You know.
I love it. How proud a moment was that for you to watch him walk across that stage?
Yeah, pretty surreal. I mean, just watch his evolution over the course of the last 5 years has been remarkable. And, I think there's been a lot of negative outtakes on the transfer portal, NIL. I mean, I think this is one of the beautiful stories about, college football opening up and a kid that can start off with one offer at Incarnate Word and then transition over to Washington State group of, or Power 5 at the time, and then go to a huge market like Miami and build his brand the way he has. I mean, I think it's just a remarkable story, but super proud, great family. I mean, salty there with people. Him and my son Jack, who's 9 years old, they still FaceTime all the time.
Oh,
and
that's
Cam
awesome.
sends him stuff all the time. He's got a mural of him in the office from all over the place. But, he's never changed. He's been the same consistent human being. He works extremely hard. So super proud of him.
So take us back to the back in the day thing. You mentioned one offer. So when you saw him, he had no offers, no stars, no offers. His dad had taken him to 5 other camps. He pulls up in San Antonio, and you had to be like, what is this? Like, who is this? Where did he come from? Like, what was the like when you saw him at that camp? Clearly you liked him, you offered him, but I'm curious what you thought. Like, where in like an alien moment almost.
Well, we didn't know him when he got there, and usually, the way these prospect camps happen is, you'll know the 4 or 5 good quarterbacks coming, you evaluate their tape, and you're there to get an in-person evaluation of them, and then say yes or no. And so we were actually warming up, and I just saw the ball popping off his hand, and just sounded different, looked different. Fortunately, I was around Mahomes and Mayfield the last 4 or 5 years before I was there, so I knew what it looked like. And so I went to my quarterbacks coach and said, hey, write this kid's number down. They all have numbers on their shirt. So we highlighted him on the sheet and make sure we get a good eval of him. And so, at that time, it was something that we noticed him, and then he had just a phenomenal camp. We kept him afterwards, put him through some extra stuff, made him make probably a little bit more difficult throws, some field outs, some field comebacks that he's going to have to make at our level, and we were just blown away. So we went back inside to watch the film, and I think a little bit of the reason is he couldn't showcase his skill set in the offense he was playing in.
Right.
And so, this day and age, especially in Texas, it still kind of baffles me that they didn't build offense, around him at that age, just because his talent level was so high. But yeah, so we definitely fell in love with him in a hurry.
Okay, so Coach, full transparency, in true Cam Ward style, when we had him on Friday, he said, oh yeah, I still give Coach Morris a little bit of crap because he didn't offer me on the spot. It took him a couple months. Is that true?
There's no doubt. That's true. So, he's someone we went through the pilot, and we wanted to learn more about him. We went into, finding out from his 7-on-7 coach, one of his personal coaches, who all said the same thing to that coach. Oh, we have no clue why nobody's offered him. He's as good an arm talent as we've ever seen. But it was hard to see it on tape, the things we were going to ask him to do. But I think, too, just getting to know his family, when we went on a home visit finally there, his mother was a coach, and she got after Cam a little bit and ripped his ass because he didn't set the dinner plates the right way. And I was like, okay, I kind of like Patrice right now. And then so we were able to, oh yeah, and she was not playing with him, and she's still the same way to this day. But getting to watch him play basketball, all-time leading scorer at his high school, to watch him communicate, to watch his leadership styles, to watch him, see the floor, see open spaces, pass with his eyes up, do no look passes. I mean, there's a lot of things that kind of went into us kind of falling in love with him and ultimately thinking that he could come in and do what he did.
Coach, I just, luckily got to work one of your games this year in our crew. When we talked to you, we talked about kind of your quarterback background. There's a common denominator with a lot of these successful guys. You've been around them. Clearly, talent at the quarterback position. You see it, you coach it well, all of that. What is maybe like the one trait that you find or see in quarterbacks and that Cam Ward has that hey, look, this dude can be special?
Yeah, I think those guys all just process information really fast. And I think, if you went out and there's plenty of guys nowadays, with all the quarterback trainers and as much 7-on-7 that goes on nationwide that they're throwing the football year round. I think there's plenty of guys with arm talent and that can throw without a defense out there on air. But I think these guys are able to process information really fast. And then in the classroom, all these good ones, I think you can tell them one thing and they can take that to the field and actually execute it. And so, I would say that's the thing that sets them apart. And especially, as they get into the playing better teams, better competition, especially into the NFL, I think the margin for error is so dang small. And that's the one thing these guys have is they have a brain that can process that information really fast on game day.
I love that point. University of North Texas football coach Eric Morris on 3HL.
Coach, can you think back to any players when Cam got there, like coming into the office, like, hey, coach, this guy here a little different, man. I don't like. Was anybody trying to get you to change things around for him, knowing the talent that he had, as far as peers go?
No, he came into a really awkward situation where, FCS football that year, we didn't play during the fall. And so I think it was actually really good for him. He was able to practice basically for 6 months before we went. And we did a little miniature 5-game season in the spring that year. But he got a whole fall to go out there and practice. And we actually set up a game for Arkansas State in November. And we had a returning starter that was an All-American for us the year before at quarterback. And so Cam had performed so well during the course of those practices that we said, hey, we're going to do one scrimmage. Whoever wins this scrimmage is going to be the starter. And so when I told both those kids in the office in private conversations, I mean, our All-American's face kind of dropped, and because he knew how talented Cam was. And
yeah.
I've never seen Cam. I mean, y'all seen the confidence Cam has. I mean, he smiled from ear to ear. He popped up and said, "Bet, coach," and he dapped me up and walked out and shut the door.
He knew it was over.
he knew what was up. So that scrimmage was phenomenal. Like, our staff really didn't get together to, like, discuss who was better. Our team, I mean, it was just so evident that day in the scrimmage. I mean, he just dominated that scrimmage, and you could see, I mean, he was talking trash and throwing touchdowns. And so that was the first time, I think, as a staff, we're like, holy smokes, like, we got something different here, guys.
Man, that is awesome. All right, Coach, you're going to roll your eyes at me, but, all the comparisons with Cam and Mahomes, fair or not, you were around Mahomes. You coached him. You coached Cam. You were around Cam. Are the comparisons fair?
Yeah, I think definitely. Now, I think, the one thing that is they both make these plays off platform, where something breaks down, they get out of the pocket and some miraculous throw across their bodies. They can drop their arm angles and they make these, just unbelievable plays that everybody sees on SportsCenter. The one thing that I can say that makes me confident in saying that he has the potential to be as good as Mahomes. Now, he knows as much as anybody. He's got a lot of work to do to win those Super Bowls and titles that Mahomes has this early in his career. Mm-hmm. But I do think that his study habits are equally as good as Patrick's, and that's one thing I don't think people talk about enough with Patrick is the way he prepares, how smart he is, and Cam has those same intangibles off the field. And so he's going to be somebody that's going to be willing to put in the work. He's going to be somebody that's going to dive into the playbook. I mean, he's all about ball. He's infatuated with it. And so I do think from that aspect, I think that he's going to give himself a chance in this next league because he's going to immerse himself in his teammates and in the playbook and the coaches and be somebody that other people want to play along with.
Man, awesome stuff.
University of North Texas football coach Eric Morris with us. Played at Texas Tech, recruited by and played for the dearly departed. Rest in peace, Mike Leach. I would love to know like a recruiting story that you might have with Mike.
I got a bunch of good ones. A bunch of them. The best ones probably aren't fit for live audience on a radio show. It'd be maybe a Netflix documentary where it could actually go into detail what actually happens.
Yeah.
But no, Mike was the best, and for me to be able to go out and recruit the quarterbacks for him, to watch the way he interacted with people was something that was phenomenal. But Mike was someone too. He was so damn smart, but you could be walking in with our number one quarterback on the board that he's known for 4 months and had 27 conversations with, and he said, well, what's this kid's name again? And, what's his mom and dad's name again? And do we really want him? He used to call me the elf. Elf, do we really want him? And I'm like, Mike, like, he's our number one quarterback on the board. He's coming on an official visit in 2 weeks. Like, yes, we want him.
He's awesome.
He's so funny. I mean, over the course of my career, I've had him on the show a bunch, and we all have interacted with him. Of course, Babs on the sidelines and all that, but he rarely wanted to talk ball when he would come on with us.
Never.
Like,
No.
I mean, we would end up talking about, the Spanish-American War or something.
Yeah, so the worst spring of my whole entire life, my first job, full-time job, was with Mike at Washington State, and at that time he was writing a book about Geronimo, and so he brought in this national expert on Geronimo, so you could imagine, you can picture in your head what this guy looks like and what he talks like and all these things. I mean, he devoted his whole life to Geronimo, so this guy comes in and he spends 2 weeks with us, and we're installing the offense. So Mike had 2 legal pads at his desk around the staff table, and one said Geronimo at the top and one said football. And so Mike, he was famous for staying up till 3 and 4, so we might be watching tape at night, and that guy would just sit there awkwardly until he would draw some comparison to a play we're installing to something that happened with Geronimo. Then he'd start talking to this guy, and then everybody's like, holy smokes. So he'd replace the football with Geronimo, and he'd start talking to this guy. And, it might be 2 a.m. in the morning. Everybody's like, get me the hell out of here. Like, what are we doing right now?
Oh, my gosh. There's so many good. We need a documentary. Absolutely.
It's called The Pirate. I mean,
I'm telling you.
it makes itself. I can totally see it. That's a great idea.
Hey, Coach.
It would be phenomenal.
I know we got to let you go, but before we do, I got to hit on what you're building there at North Texas, because obviously got to work that Army game there and was so impressed with the atmosphere, the crowd, just how you guys do game day there. Like, it's really a fun football experience. Like, how are you and where are you in your program right now?
Yeah, I think we're trending upwards right now, and so, trying to way to navigate this new landscape of college football has not been the easiest thing ever, as far as, navigating the transfer portal and NIL, and so never did in a million years did I think I would be controlling a budget of what we're paying out to our team and having these exit meetings and talking contracts and monies and buyouts, and so I think football's changing at a very, very rapid pace, and I think you got to keep up with the times. And I'm extremely happy that we're able to commit financially to our kiddos, and they get a little piece to the puzzle. But yeah, I think we've been, top 3 offense in the nation the last 2 years. We gotta get a defense that can come in and can work with that, which we've hired a great staff from Sam Houston this year was a top 20 defense. And so, we're really excited about the roster. This will be the best roster that we've had top to bottom. We got another really cool story coming on the horizon with a couple quarterbacks here. One was Cam's backup, who's a really good player from Miami, and then one was a freshman walk-on that played in our bowl game that didn't even play in high school and threw for almost 500 yards. So,
Awesome.
Extremely excited about what we're building here. This is a great place, obviously, to be in the DFW area, and Texas football's king, and so excited to continue to build this place and compete for championships here in the near future.
Well, we certainly
quarterback whisperer.
Yeah, I know,
there.
right?
Yeah.
We certainly wish you the best, and we'll be watching, man. I appreciate the time, Eric.
God bless y'all. Y'all have a good one.
All right.
Thanks,
bless you,
Coach.
man. Eric Morris from North Texas. More 3HL. What are your thoughts on the Titans draft class? Which pick do you think is the best, not counting the number one pick? 615-737-1045. History had the gold rush, then came the oil boom, then the tech boom, but right now it's the Wi-Fi boom, and the Xfinity Wi-Fi is booming. Streaming, booming, gaming, booming, video calls, booming, even when your boss schedules a meeting that definitely could have been in an email. And now you can get Xfinity Internet and mobile together all in one plan. It's the ultimate power couple. Wi-Fi Power Boost from Xfinity Mobile gives you faster, secure Wi-Fi speeds at home and on the go. So your Wi-Fi is booming wherever you are. Now through June 23rd, new customers can get 400 megabit Xfinity Internet with free equipment and unlimited internet data. And get one unlimited 5G mobile line included, all in one plan, all for $40 a month for 1 year. So whether you're working, watching, or panning for Wi-Fi Gold, one thing is for sure, Xfinity Wi-Fi is booming. Visit Xfinity.com to learn more. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account. Restrictions apply. Taxes, fees are extra. Xfinity Mobile requires Xfinity Internet. Reduced speeds after 30 gigabits of data usage. Data thresholds vary after 1 year. Rate increases to $110 a month. After 2 years, regular rates apply to all services up to $143 a month. Actual speeds vary.
Two Rivers Ford announces employee pricing for everyone. Every tradesman, every dad, every rising star. You pay what we pay. Two Rivers Ford. Locally owned. American made. Whether you're a homeowner creating your dream space or a pro managing multiple projects, discover a new way to shop at Ferguson Home, where great ideas become stunning spaces. Ferguson Home is designed for the way you want to shop. Explore the best selection of bath, kitchen, and lighting products online, or experience items firsthand in one of our showrooms. Our experts offer personalized support every step of the way. Bring your vision to Ferguson Home, where it all comes together. Shop top brands like Visual Comfort or find your local showroom at fergusonhome.com.
Good afternoon. It's 4:07. I'm Joseph Bonanno, live from the 104.5 The Zone studios. We're running late, so let's get right back into 3HL. For all your foundation repair, whatever needs, you need to visit USSDN.com. Bring news at once on your home for the Titans and Balls. This is 104.5 The Zone.
HL 104.5 The Zone. Brent Doherty with you on a beautiful day in the Music City. Hope you had a great weekend. The NFL draft has now come and gone. What do you think? And not counting pick number 1, what was your favorite pick for the Titans? And why?
I felt like there was a lot of people that weren't thrilled with the second and third round picks early on, right when they came out, until maybe you did some research and went and watched some of the tape or read some of the evaluations of those players. Am I wrong? I thought
it's interesting
I thought the
because
reaction was a little from Titans fans.
If people have listened to 3HL for an extended period of time, the Oladejo pick would not surprise you because we've talked with Greg Cosell multiple times about him. And, you know, the intriguing part about him to me is that he's got 10 games as an edge rusher. But listening to Mike Detillier talk, who scouted him for the LSU-UCLA game, he said he's much better on the outside. He said the inside work at inside linebacker will help him because he's a very good run defender. So in terms of, like, if he needs to set the edge, he can do it. But if he can get up the field, he's got potential. So, you know, when you're talking about ceilings and things like that, I think he's an intriguing pick.
I think there was some concern with that third-round pick, Kevin Winston Jr., with injury.
That was
He tore his ACL.
I know. Well, and Titans fans are like, you know,
Here we go
you go
again.
back to Caleb Farley. I mean, that's the obvious one.
Which is fair, right?
But then you go to Big Jeff, and you're like, listen, now completely different talent, right? I get it, different.
And the ACL,
round, different all of
injury
it.
it's not
what it used to be.
No.
And he's headed into, month 7 following his surgery? I think that's right. He played 2 games and then tore his ACL and then missed the rest of the season. Mike Detillier said going into the season, ranked 31st on his board overall.
Yeah.
So that's a first-round grade from Mike Detillier prior to the injury. So, yeah, I mean, that's the obvious question, though, with regard to Kevin Winston. This is what Nick Saban had to say about him. Quote, if he wasn't injured and he could have played his whole career, he would have been a first-round pick, end quote.
So that's
he's almost 8 months out. So he's almost 8 months out.
Okay.
Now that I look at it again.
Favorite
Oladejo.
pick. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oladejo said this, I'm just scratching the surface, is what he said.
I can respect it.
I can get down with that.
Yeah.
What'd you like, Mayor?
I liked. I'm intrigued by a lot. I'm intrigued by Kevin Winston because
of all the comments about how talented he is.
Yeah, and if he is, like you said, everybody gets ACLs now, and you're almost better after you have one for some reason.
A lot of people come back stronger.
Yeah,
a lot of them now.
And so I'm anxious to see that because, like I said, May will be 8 months, right? So June, July, August, you get into training camp. He's almost a year out. You know what I mean?
Yep. And then also, to your point, what Bab said about the injury, it being ACL, you got to remember Caleb Farley was coming in back.
And I mean, he had ACL once. He had,
but the main one was that back. Like we expected him to bounce back from that. Yeah, exactly. It was a lot going on right there.
Yeah,
that was a real stretch. But I don't feel this being one of those big stretches. The one I scratched my head a little bit about was DK. Is that how you say his name?
Yeah,
DK from Florida.
Yeah, like I know he fast. What else are we getting?
4.34, 38.5-inch vertical, 10.8 on the broad jump.
Athlete.
You're getting an athlete. That's
I mean, but I'm saying like, okay. I'm waiting to see it on him. Like what he does as far as impact wise, is it special teams? Is he a slot guy that's going to take the top off? Yeah.
I'm with you on him because, I mean, we watch SEC football every weekend, right?
Yes.
Like, and there were games where he played well. There were games where you didn't even notice him on the field. So, Florida did have that quarterback issue. That is true. Detillier talked about that in the first segment. Once they got rolling with the quarterback position, his numbers went up.
Yeah.
So once DJ Lagway got going, his numbers went up too. So I'm intrigued by the speed, but yeah,
I like Helm.
I see what you're saying.
But
Gunnar Helm's my best.
Isn't DK Gunnar Helm is my pick?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but before that, isn't DK an option for return game too?
That's what I'm saying. It's got to be. It's got to be. Yeah.
So there's
no question.
There's that part of it too.
So I asked Cosell after they talked with him, and I'll put it on Twitter. Greg Cosell about new Titans wide receiver Chim DK is what they said at the podium. Thankfully, he said, "quote like him, can play outside, can play in the slot, excellent linear speed, which means straight line speed, vertical dimension." For the Titans.
Stretch.
You guys like Gunnar Helm. I do too. 6'5", 241, up to like 250, I think.
That's a big dude.
Yeah.
Number 6 ranked tight end in the draft by ESPN. He broke the single season record for receptions by a tight end at Texas this year. Is a vertical threat. This from ESPN.com. Is a vertical threat in the seam, can break tackles, efficient and crafty route runner, big target for a quarterback in zone defense reads.
I go back to what Thomas Dimitroff said numerous times to us when we had him on the day of the draft, talking about a rookie quarterback and how they're going to have to adjust the league. Doesn't matter that he's the number 1 pick overall, right?
Yep.
Look at what Washington did as far as keep it simple and help out your young quarterback. And he just kept saying over and over, I'd get him a good tight end. I'd make sure he had a great tight end.
He did.
I'd make sure that you had a tight end that could help him. Well, here you go, a ridiculous pass-catching tight end who maybe isn't the greatest blocker, but can do enough to do his job. It's not going to keep him off of the field kind of thing. There you go. That's I love that pick to help your rookie.
I think the other element that he provides the Titans offense with, and we didn't see it a lot last year, is 2 pass-catching tight ends that you could put on the field at the same time. So previous 2 tight end sets, if they're going they're running left, or if that's if Chig's on the other side. But to be fair to Chig, the last 3 games that he played this year, he caught 22 balls.
Yep.
So that's a development that's happening at tight end, I think, for the Titans. So I think Gunnar Helm helps there for sure. Interesting stats. You're going to want to hear this about Jackson Slater, who is an offensive guard who can play center, they said. And Babs is already rolling her eyes.
I'm already rolling my eyes because you know how I feel about guys in the trenches from smaller schools.
But this is a guy that's not brought in here to start. You know what I mean? Like, he's got some time to develop. But, yes, his stats are incredible. But, yes, it's at a different level. We'll talk about that next. Take your phone calls. Which pick are you intrigued by? 615-737-1045.
Best announcement ever from Two Rivers Ford. It's all about employee pricing, and maybe you're thinking, okay, well, what does that have to do with me? Because you get it. Yeah, Two Rivers Ford offering employee pricing for absolutely everybody. So you're going to pay whatever they pay on almost every new Ford on that lot. And at Two Rivers Ford, what you see, always what you get. They don't do things like add in service packages to make the price of the vehicle go up. Nope. Upfront, honest, every single time. That is Two Rivers Ford, and now they're offering you employee pricing. No better time to buy American and no better dealership than Two Rivers Ford. Locally owned and operated for over 40 years, home of the non-commissioned sales team, and I am here to tell you that they really are there just to help you. I still text my salespeople over at Two Rivers Ford when I have questions about my truck. They're the best. They'll take care of you. And now it's home of employee pricing for everyone. From America, for America. That's Two Rivers Ford. Go see them, the South's most trusted Ford dealer.
All right, parents, listen, have that talk with your kids. Or better yet, let me have the talk for you. You give them the keys to the car. You go, you walk out. You're like, oh, yeah, this is your car. Big ribbon on it and everything. But do you take the time to give them this number, 615-242-9000, just in case something happens? That being an accident, yes, the kids are okay, but the car isn't. So now you got to deal with this. Parents, take a load off. Listen, put your mind at ease. Now, when you got Blair Durham and the team over at Bart Durham Injury Law fighting for you, you can rest a little easier. You know that they're going to be on top of it. Now, you need someone who's got your back, and that's why, and that's where Blair Durham and his team come in. They take care of everything from the moment you call to getting you the compensation you deserve, where you have no stress. 615-242-9000. Just in case Got your parents' number on speed dial? Put this one on there, too. Bart Durham Injury Law.
Three HL 104.5 The Zone. Britt Doherty, Don Davenport, Ron Slay. What a nice day outside, man.
What up?
Will Bowling in the house. His soccer team scored 7 goals the other day.
He specifically came in here just to tell me about how they scored 7 goals.
They did, man.
And I'm like, dude, I already know because I had the 8 million people tell me.
Everybody knows you in soccer.
I forget who tweeted it, but I loved it. It said, the extra point is good. And I was like, what did that mean? Oh, Nashville SC. Okay.
I love it.
615-737-1045 if you want in at 3HL 1045. The undrafted free agent pool, 16-player list compiled by Justin Mello. Brandon Crenshaw Dixon, offensive tackle, Florida. Isaiah Rakes, nose tackle, Auburn. There you go, Babs.
Where you go?
Clarence Lewis. Clarence Lewis sounds like he discovered something, like ammonium or something. I don't know. Clarence Lewis, safety, Syracuse. By the way, Bullock did a great job, didn't he?
With the hard name. That was perfect.
Man, he hesitated, though.
He did. Is it not hilarious? Because we, the day before, had him on our show talking about how Vince Young screwed up Honor Landry, Harold Landry. And he was like, I'm not worried about it. And then he gets that name.
He nailed it.
He did. Great job, Bully.
Good job, Bully.
I mean,
I just thought it was
eggshells.
hilarious.
I mean, the biggest challenge that he said was if they trade down, then I'm just going to sit there and drink.
I mean,
I hope
sound
you
like a
didn't
bad
sit there
idea.
and drink and try and pronounce that name.
Did you notice, though, like they had the lady in the NFL office that would do the picks if, like, somebody wasn't there?
I saw that, yeah.
And did you notice, like, as the night went on, there were more and more guys that weren't there anymore?
Yeah, it's over. All that free food and free drinks back there, man, we out of here.
I'm just going to sit here for
They got,
another
you know what, they got
hour.
to start moving it along a little faster, too.
They got to figure out a way.
Yeah. Like, that's too much time. People know who's picking. Like, yeah, everybody ain't going to beat the Minnesota Vikings. Did you look into that story?
I didn't.
Dang it.
I meant to.
No, it's all right, because I'm
They didn't make their pick, and so then they were pick 7, then pick 8 went, and so then they had pick 9. Just like
The
that.
whole draft. I wonder who they could have got.
Well, they saved a little money.
Who they miss on? That's what I want to know.
I'll look here in a second. Xavier Restrepo, wide receiver, Miami. Devontae O'Malley, defensive tackle, Northern Illinois. Micah Bernard, running back, Utah. Cam Horsley, defensive tackle, Boston College. Garrett Hollis Jr., cornerback, West Virginia. David Benda, linebacker, Texas. Jalen Kimber, cornerback, Penn State. Desmond Evans, defensive end, North Carolina. Jamari Harris, cornerback, Iowa. Virgil Lemons, cornerback, West Florida. Philip Bleedy, defensive tackle, Auburn. David Ross, cornerback, Memphis. Caden Moore, center, Virginia Tech. All right, I said I was going to give you a little information on
What
Jackson
you going to give us
Slater.
then, Euro?
Jackson
Sacramento
Slater,
State.
6'3", 311 pounds, 5th-round pick out of Sacramento State. Yes. First-team All-American at that level. And from B&B football. Over the last 2 years, Jackson Slater, 877 pass block snaps. 1 quarterback hit allowed, no sacks allowed. In 877 reps. So, this is a guy, okay, developmental guy, for sure. Best offensive line coach in football.
Right.
Maybe you have a swing guy moving forward in the next few years at center and guard. Those guys are valuable.
Yeah, how's the swing guy been for us as of late? Was
Right.
Raidens our swing guy?
I mean, he ended up. she just shooed you.
That's enough.
He gone.
Enough of this mess.
It was almost like Hadley walked in the room and said, "Mommy!"
I felt all of that right there. Yeah. Every bit of it.
Levin, he was a swing guy.
Yeah.
It's a need.
I'll take Raidens.
Well, he's gone.
He's out
He
here.
gone. I know. Trust me, Ramon and I went back and forth. He thought that he kind of had it together. Alonzo in the chat said, so Babs would not have liked McNair because he came from a very small school. Wrong. False.
No, she's not talking about
linemen.
I said specifically in the trenches,
Yeah, linemen.
especially offensive linemen. That is where I feel like the game is really different. And just from working, like I worked some FCS playoff games too, and just
You can tell from the sideline.
to like stand there and see the complete difference in size and speed
violence.
and strength. Like there is a massive difference. So it makes the adjust. I'm not saying that they can't
Right.
make it because we've seen plenty of them make it. I'm just saying the adjustment is much like vastly different.
This may be one of the
They
draft
coming from
picks
SEC.
in this draft class that just kind of gets forgotten. But like 2-3 years from now, you're like, oh man, injury. Here comes Slater. He's solid. I don't know. We'll see. But I did
I
want to
hope
get.
he is. They need depth there.
I just wanted to get that stat out there for you. 877 pass block snaps, 0 sacks allowed the last 2
There you
years.
go.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah, come
You
on,
can't be
Babs.
better. You can't be better than that.
No, you cannot. 0 sacks allowed.
Give me a nice wake up call at this level.
0 what?
0 sacks allowed.
Yes, that's true. 615-737-1045. Tyler in Dixon. Tyler, what's up?
What's up, man? How's it going?
Good. Tyler, what's happening, brother?
Not too much. Hey, I just wanted to get on here and say I don't really see too many problems with the draft picks. There's been a lot of change from the office to the front line. I'm excited for some football. Let's go. Tighten up, baby.
Love it, Tyler. Thank you, brother. 615-737-1045.
I like that energy. Bring it.
I was going to say, listen at the optimism. I love it. The people are starting to come back around. Slowly. There you go. Okay, Cam. We hear you.
That's part of his stream.
We hear you.
Cam's is out there.
A couple of the people that he talked to right away when he first got
Who?
Red, guy by the name of Red, then Burks, some guys, Cam Ward, I'm speaking of.
Yes, he did tell us on Friday that
Some of the guys he talked to.
I mean,
He
I
had
did
reached
see a
out to Burks.
picture of him with his a couple of his receivers. Burks wasn't there.
No, Burks, he's getting healthy, Babs.
Yeah, I know.
he's rehabbing.
He ain't gonna be back.
He said,
Brinker said Burks is still rehabbing. TD asked if he would pick up if they would pick up his 5th-year option, and Brinker said that they were working through all of that, but probably not.
Yeah, not important right now.
I mean, why
That's
would
what I
they?
mean. Yeah.
Why would you pick up the?
Yeah,
50?
why would you? Same thing. It's like
it'd be-
asking, would you
it
pick
would
up
be a
something on Chig?
Stupid
It'd be stupid to pick up on Chig.
decision to
Yeah.
do that. Like,
Why would you pick up on Chig? You
Well,
better
they
go ahead
did.
and prove it.
They did draft a tight end, so
That's what I'm saying. Like everybody, you're replaceable
yeah.
at any moment. You better wake up and go improve. This ain't the old regime.
speaking of replacements,
Okay.
I thought Alec Iomanner was probably the best value out of all the draft picks they got.
It's funny that you mentioned the word value because I read from Steve Minch with ESPN. Got him later than I thought he would go. He wrote, huge game versus Colorado, as we all know, in October of 23, 13 receptions, 294 yards, and 3 touchdowns. He's physical, strong, can beat press coverage, makes contested catches, good route runner, no problem going over the middle. One thing he must work on, locking in. 15 drops over the past 2 seasons.
oh gosh.
Yeah.
Get him on the jugs machine.
I mean, it's hard to know because he was on a terrible, crappy team.
Terrible team. And
B,
also, if you're
he's
going
on
in
the
the
West Coast,
and if you're
so-
going at the end of the 4th round, you're going to have things, right?
Yeah, otherwise you'd be in the first or second.
That's why I want to know what was his value. Like the people that are high on him. Like, when did you see him?
Minch thought he would be a 5th-round pick.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting though. If you go back and look at all these, experts,
Which he almost was.
right? You look at all these experts in their draft grades for all of these franchises. I mean, I didn't find a single one out there that had the Titans lower than a B-.
No, it was. I think quality, good quality draft. As far as when you're trying to build a core and fill holes, I guess that's as good as you can get. A lot of positions.
I happened to see Chad Reuter's deal. I was watching NFL.com. He only gave 5 A's. He gave A's to the Baltimore Ravens, the Indianapolis Colts, the Las Vegas Raiders, the New York Giants, 6, Pittsburgh Steelers, and Tennessee Titans. He had a bunch of A-minuses, but in terms of A's, those are the only ones.
Patriots didn't get no A? They had a lot of players, man.
Patriots, B+.
Okay. They had a lot of picks.
I thought they had a solid
Talking about
draft.
the Patriots?
I did too.
I thought the Patriots had a really good draft.
Well, because we know Vrabel and we know what he's trying to put together, and he did it. Like, I mean, that was
and
a
like
Vrabel
the
draft.
scouting reports on like the players that they
guys.
chose. I mean, they are Vrabel guys, right? It's like all ball, aggressive.
How about
all those things?
Vrabel getting Kyle Williams right before the
Yeah.
Titans were set to pick?
Yeah. And then the Titans are like, peace.
Yeah,
we'll move back.
Yeah, we out here.
We'll go. Bye-bye.
Yep. I thought the Patriots did a lot to help out their young quarterback, right?
What did y'all think about Restrepo's reaction when he got the phone call? I mean, how cool was that? Like, he was really emotional. And it's funny because on Friday, I forget which one of y'all asked him, but one of y'all asked him. Babsy asked him, have you let the general manager know who you want the second round? And he was like, Restrepo. And
He
so,
was like, oh, they know who I want. And I'm like, who? Restrepo. I'm like, he ain't going.
And so he doesn't
You
get
him
drafted.
late. Yeah.
Undrafted free agents make it in this league. I mean, listen, they do.
Yeah.
Especially if it's your,
Yep.
especially if it's your quarterback.
That's right. Best undrafted wide receivers I looked up. Wes Welker, Drew Pearson, Cowboys, Cole Beasley, Doug Baldwin, Austin Eckler, Victor Cruz.
Dang, those are some good ones.
Yeah, he fits the mold of all those guys, kind of.
Yeah.
Like scrappy.
Small, yeah. Small, compact. You know what I mean?
And just because you're undrafted doesn't mean you don't make the team. Look at Bryce Oliver, right? And he got reps. Now, granted, on a bad football team, right? But that's part of his opportunity. But I'm curious about Restrepo, and we will all be like kind of watching him as a part of our training camp viewing pleasure. But Cam Ward on 3HL Friday talked about being reunited with his teammate Xavier Restrepo, and this is before the draft.
Yes, man. Like he's someone who had to get out the mud as well. He wasn't that highly recruited. Even to this day, they're still looking down on him. But he's one of the best route runners in this draft.
And that's the thing. You heard Detillier today, right?
Mm-hmm.
If that route is supposed to be 11 yards, guess where Restrepo is going to be for his quarterback?
Yeah.
Right there at 11. There's no drifting. There's no, the quarterback missed him because he was in the wrong spot. There is not that with him. He's so precise because he has to be, because he's not fast, and he has great hands, and he's super aggressive. And here's the other thing. I think I texted this. We were talking about it in our text, and I said this. He is all in on Cam Ward, right? Like Cam Ward completely transformed his career.
Yep.
And he knows how he leads, and he bought in. And to have him at camp with Cam, to give Cam that, not that Cam needs any kind of confidence builder, but for Cam to be like, okay, I got my guy here who knows how I work, knows how I treat people, knows what I demand of people, and he can kind of help him to demand how he does what he does. Right?
I wonder how far Cam's going to go to try to get him acclimated in it, because with the other picks that are around him, how often will Cam get to work with him? You know what I'm saying?
Right,
so
because he'll be running with like the fours,
absolutely.
right?
You know what I'm saying? Now that's why I'm wondering, like, will it be
That's
a
a good
situation where he's after practice and he's like, hey, man, let's get out here, run some reps. Like, they always watching. And even if they ain't watching, like, I need it and you need it. You know what I'm saying? So to your point, yes, you got your there's nothing like having that what's the little blanket on Charlie Brown?
The security blanket.
Linus, was it Linus that had the blanket?
Linus, yeah.
Man, ain't nothing like having your little Linus blanket with you, dog.
I mean, that's who he is for him.
That's exactly who he is.
I
Did
could
you
definitely see
ever-
both of them like staying after practice late, and then
No
like
doubt. Like doing film together.
And
Aaron Rodgers had one.
Ham the same, yeah. Undercover.
Yeah, and then he kept bringing them with him everywhere.
Everywhere.
Yep.
Show up in
Jeez.
Pittsburgh.
Did that? I was going to say, is this finally going to end?
I heard that Randall Cobb lives here, so what up?
He does.
What up, Randall?
SEC
Come
Network.
in
We
and
did
hang with
we did
us.
a show together.
Oh yeah. What'd you do?
Me, him.
Like a podcast?
No, SEC Network. You know, he was with the SEC Network.
I know, but he's a football guy.
I'm a football guy.
I love how
love
you
you,
just
Slay.
winked. You just winked at her.
That was a very Cam Ward-like response right there. Yeah.
That was good.
Did you ever
615-737-1045.
Did you ever have somebody like on a team like where you
just
went
need
to
your
a
guy?
team and you were like, oh, my guy's here. You just feel different?
Yes.
Okay.
Plenty of times overseas, it was Joby Thomas.
Yeah.
Who was at the wedding. Like
Yeah.
that's my guy. Like he would bring a calm about me. Like I knew he understood me. He
Yeah.
could see when the coach was getting on my nerves and I'm about to blow my top in practice. He could give me a look like, come on, Slay, not right now. Not right now. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that was one. That was one definitely.
And could help your other teammates.
Yes.
To understand
absolutely.
and learn.
Man, no question. Because once he
think
got
that's
over there.
invaluable.
Oh, what? He knew how to speak Italian fluidly. And it was like, he was translating for me. Like, hey, man, like, y'all give him a chance, man. He gonna be, I know you look crazy, but he gonna be cool, man. So, yeah, you always want to see that guy. And Babsy, even if they're on the other team, that's how much, like when we get in the scrimmages or something and they were on the other team and I walked into it, into the arena and we were scrimmaging another team and my guy was over there, I'd be like, see, this is going to be a good day. Even though I got to play against him, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's different, man, when you're out there and you get to see somebody that's your dog.
615-737-1045. Couple of more things from Cam Ward. Again, you can hear the interview for yourself, the entirety of it, where you get your podcast or at 1045thezone.com. Rate, review, subscribe, 3HL. But it was Friday. You can get it on the YouTube channel for 1045 The Zone as well, and you can watch it there. Cam Ward on 3HL Friday talking about what motivates him
I'll say myself. I had the dream since I was a little kid. I've always put that expectation on myself. But I pray about it every night. I'm blessed, and I'll say myself for sure.
I don't know how you don't want this to be your guy. Like if you had to close your eyes, listen to each person. You got 5 contestants. You got to listen to each person.
On The Price is Right.
Yeah. They're behind, like the Love Connection. You know how they put them behind the like,
They should bring that show back.
Dude, they got to give a description of who they are to answer the questions. Like, I don't know. And the tone, his delivery is matter of fact. It's not cocky. It's just who I am. You win in the press conference. Win in the press conference.
And even if you weren't for the pick, just like reading all these stories about him, seeing the videos, reading the analysts and everyone around him, and maybe you heard Coach Morris today talking about him, wouldn't it at least make you excited to have hope?
Yeah, that's what it gives you.
That this guy is going to be the guy?
It at least gives you wait and see.
Yeah, at least baseline wait and see.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Then, like, in the chat, I got Lone Phoenix, who's always in there, say, here comes the hype. Guess what? You don't even need hype with the number 1 pick. It's warranted and it comes with it. So I don't care who you are. Once you draft number 1, the number 1 pick. We just sat and watched, how many rounds is it? 7 rounds?
Mm-hmm.
We just sat and watched 7 rounds out of all them players, all the way to Mr. Irrelevant. It was one person that was number 1 that came to your franchise. What hype you need?
615-737-1045. When we come back, Darrington and Cap. We just met Cap at the Titans draft party the other day. No, he's all Cap, I guess. We've got that. If you want in, 615-737-1045. 3HL analyzing this draft on 1045 The Zone. HL 1045 The Zone, 615-737-1045. I want to tell you about my friends at Gupton Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. That is where you need to go if you're thinking about that next new vehicle, whether you're looking for a car, truck, SUV, or Jeep. New or pre-owned, Gupton has a great inventory, and they will point you in the right direction. Just let them know what you're looking for, and like I said, they'll point you in the right direction. Go take your test drive, go inside. They will help make the numbers work, and it will be that easy. Check them out online. GuptonMotors.com is the website. That's where you need to go to find out all the deals they have going on, like the employee pricing deals they have going on this month. Check it out, GuptonMotors.com. The inventory is there as well, new and pre-owned. Dealership information, address, phone number, all of it is right there. 24 west toward Clarksville, exit 35 is only about 9 miles outside the city. Then a straight shot into the best vehicle buying experience I think you will have ever had. That's Gupton Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Again, 30 minutes from downtown Nashville, 3450 Tom Austin Highway. Again, check them out online, GuptonMotors.com.
All right, guys. Everybody listen up, because Mother's Day is right around the corner. And, of course, probably the number one thing your mom wants is for you to actually call her, right? Well, I have an awesome idea for you. You can give her a call, of course, but how about this? See, my mom lives all the way in Georgia. And so this is what we did this year, an Aura digital picture frame. Named the best digital photo frame by Wirecutter, featured in 495 different guides last year. So you can call mom, but then you can send pictures of dogs or kids or whatever far away, and immediately she can see them. It's really cool. Aura has a great deal for Mother's Day. For a limited time, listeners can save on the perfect gift. Visit auraframes.com. Get $35 off plus free shipping on their best-selling Carver matte frame. That's AURA frames.com. Use the promo code ZONE. Terms and conditions apply.
Welcome back in to 3HL right here on 104.5 The Zone on this Reaction Monday from the 2025 NFL Draft, people. We appreciate you sliding in here, rocking with us, 615-737-1045. We want to hear from you and what your takeaways or maybe giveaways, I guess, from the draft were. Like, are you feeling good? You feeling hope, like Yoro said, coming into it? Or just what are you thinking? That's the question, Babsy. What are the people thinking?
We got some calls. You want to take callers?
Darrington out east. D, what up?
What's happening, my good people?
What up, Darrington?
Hope everyone is well, man.
Yes, sir.
First of all, before I even get into that, I just want to say, Babs, I hope you've been watching these playoffs because this playoff basketball has been simply amazing.
It's been great.
I
caught myself watching playoff hockey last night. That's where I am.
You know, for some reason, I listen to Charles Barkley on TNT, and for some reason, he makes me want to watch it, and I don't even understand hockey as it is. But for some reason, it's kind of entertaining. Maybe I miss football or something, but for some reason, playoff, I think it's just playoff sports in general.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
you know how much is on the line, what they're playing for, and people actually give a darn. So
and
I
especially
think that's what separates it.
Edmonton was down to the Kings 3-2, and then they pulled the goalie. They scored with like 25 seconds left, and the place went nuts. And then they go to overtime, and they're just peppering Kemper as the Kings goalie, peppering him with shot after shot after shot. And then they get the game winner in overtime, and that place exploded. It was so cool. But, yeah, the NBA playoffs have been great, too. I've been in on it.
Yes. All right, so this whole thing, I had called before, and I was like, hey, I'm not really too hype about this 25 draft. I don't care what they do. Still like it. Everybody has a story. So the whole Cam, to me, Cam Ward, everybody keep talking about Patrick Mahomes. I see more Cam Newton. Cam Newton had to go to JUCO. He didn't have no offers. He ended up going to Auburn. He went number one. He had a good career. My thing is, when they keep talking about Patrick Mahomes had Alex Smith, and he has one of the greatest coaches of all time, in Andy Reid. Mm-hmm. This guy has Will Levis, and he has Callahan, who's unproven, has worked with some other people. Is it kind of like now almost as if you got to get Will Levis out of there because he's that bad apple and you don't want to taint it none? Or do you let Cam look at him like, okay, this is what I need not to do so I don't end up like him? Just trying to figure out your take on that. I'm getting ready for the 26th draft. That's all the way I can see for it now.
Well,
y'all have a good one.
Thank you, D. Appreciate it. Darrington out east.
I don't think Levis is a bad apple.
Yeah, I don't think so.
No.
And dude works. I mean,
very competitive. He works hard. Yes, all of those things.
He is going to do whatever he can, wherever he is, to try and win the job. So you know what that means? That means he's going to push whoever's in that room with him.
He's still learning too,
wherever he is. So
Mike Borgonti, the general manager of the Tennessee Titans, met with the media today. Was asked what value does Will Levis bring to the roster, and was there any consideration in terms of trading him during the draft?
Yeah, you know, anytime you get some young receivers in here and working with the quarterback, and really the whole quarterback room, you know, they have to develop, and they have to develop a rapport in here. So we're trying to get young guys in here that can develop and grow as we build this roster.
I guess also with the fit, too, just maybe how those receivers fit with Cam's play style.
Okay.
That's me.
Nice.
I put the wrong one. Sorry. I was on the phone. That was on me. Completely on me. Here is what he actually said about Will Levis. Yes, that is on me. I'm taking ownership.
Okay.
Here's what he actually said about Will Levis.
Thank you.
It's a lot of value. You know, I think, you know, there's going to be competition in every room, and he elevates the competition in that room. That's what we're trying to do here as we get into training camp, is have the best 90-man roster, best competition in every room, and Will certainly provides that.
Was there an attempt to move him during the draft?
There was not.
There you go.
It was not.
There was not.
Yeah.
Does that surprise you?
Yes.
Nah, we ain't have time. We ain't have time to mess around with him. That's what I would have been thinking. Anybody got time to play around?
We'll deal with that later.
Yeah, come on, man. That Cam coming in here.
I was surprised.
Me too.
That's why I kept watching the draft. I was like, well, maybe they'll trade back in.
Nobody want Will right now.
This is a Malik Willis 2.0 situation where they're going to say, yeah, he's going to compete for a job, the backup job, with a veteran, Brandon Allen. Mm-hmm. And then when we all know,
just out there.
when we all know who's going to win that job at the end of the year, Brandon Allen, they're going to be like, all right, and they're going to try and trade him for whatever scraps they can. This is just a way to get him,
I definitely could see that.
This is just a way to get him, you know, more film on tape, I guess, for teams to be like, hey, see, this guy can be a player for you guys.
Yeah, and we've talked about that, and he does perform well in the preseason. That is documented.
Yeah.
For whatever reason. Speaking of next year's draft, NFL Draft Buzz quarterback rankings for next year. People keep asking about, the next quarterback class. This is how they have it right now. You ready for this? Number 1, Arch Manning. No surprise there. Number 2, Nico Iamaleava. I've seen multiple quarterback rankings have him number 2 in next year's group.
They'll find a way to pick him apart.
I also don't think either of those guys come out next year.
Fair. Number 3, Drew Aller, Penn State, who just got the receiver from Syracuse that Fran Brown didn't want to pay $2 million for. And now people are saying Penn State might be the number 1 team in the country. Bless you, Pepsi.
That's all right. They'll screw it up in the postseason.
Everybody's got a reason.
Just waiting for things to screw up. Number 4, I love this dude, man. Lenoris Sellers. Number 4 quarterback now. From nothing.
Tough. I can't wait to see his game. What steps he takes this year.
Keep pushing.
To watch, yeah.
Number 5, Garrett Nussmeier. Haven't said Carson Beck yet.
I can't figure it out on Nussmeier.
I know. I like him. You heard to tell you.
I heard him.
They never had extra people in the box because they weren't afraid of the run game at all.
He was right on Jaden Daniels too. I just don't see it.
Cade Klubnik, number 6, Clemson. Sam Levitt, Arizona State, number 7.
Ooh.
Number 8, John Mateer, Oklahoma. Transfer from Washington State. Number 9, Miller Moss. I couldn't remember where he went. I actually had to look that one up. Louisville.
Oh.
Number 10, Carson Beck. And he's making the most money.
Hey, just rake it on in, Carson. Lambo's for everybody.
His ex-girlfriend says he has no friends.
Nobody likes him.
Nobody likes him.
I guess he's getting on her nerves at home or something.
Well, they broke up, so.
So
it's over, Rover. 615-737-1045 if you want in. Cap and Brentwood. Cap, what's up, man? How are you?
Hey, Mayo, what's going on? It was a pleasure meeting all three of you the other night at the draft party.
You too, brother.
And, and listen, the wife and I, like you said, I'm an old guy, so I'm trying to tick things off my bucket list. And I have a silly bucket list. One of them was to go to a Senior Bowl.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so the wife and I went this year.
Okay.
And Oladejo was really the only guy I remember from that game that stood out play after play. He just looked bigger, faster, and better than anybody out there. And, and I remember his name. So when we drafted him, I was like, oh, I remember that guy from the Senior Bowl. And I said to my wife, you remember this guy from the Senior Bowl? And she looked at me like I had 3 eyes. So,
yeah, because you brought the Senior Bowl up, and she was probably still thinking, like, when you bring the Senior Bowl up, like, why was I at the Senior Bowl?
Yeah, well, you know what? She enjoyed it because I took her to downtown Mobile.
Yeah.
And we went to the parade, the Mardi Gras parade.
Mm-hmm.
It's a family-friendly Mardi Gras parade. You don't have to show anything to get beat. and it was a great time. And as a matter of fact, while we were down there, we were walking away from the parade, and this woman who was running, a security girl, a lady, and she said to my wife, I know you. And she remembers my wife when she was a nurse at Vanderbilt and treated her and her family really well.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
So I'm going back to Mobile next year. I just love the town. I love the Senior Bowl, and we might just make it a yearly event.
That's very cool. And they're quick to tell you down there that they started the whole Mardi Gras parade thing.
Yeah, they.
Oh,
it is.
It's personal.
It's personal. You think it's like rivalry time with Tennessee, with Nashville and Memphis?
That's exactly what I was going to refer to.
That'll do it.
Yeah, it's like a mini New Orleans. With the French Quarter. There's like a small little section downtown, very similar in architecture, and that's where we ate dinner that night right before going to the parade. But it was a great time. I really enjoyed it, and it was with this accent, I'm going to get, where are you from? and so I told him Dothan, Alabama.
Yeah.
So, which is kind of funny.
Didn't we figure out a connection you had with Joseph Bonanno, or did we not?
My grandmother's maiden name was Bonanno. So
we may or may not be family members.
I said y'all are all from the mafia mob.
Yeah. Well, Dawn, if I told you, I'd have to kill you.
That's right.
Hey, Dawn, don't say that on the air, man.
Sorry.
Yeah, don't ask me about my business, Dawn.
Shout out to the Godfather.
Thank you, Cat. Appreciate it. We'll stay on the good side of you, bro.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Yeah. Yeah. He's been a sports talk caller in this town for a long time, and he said he was going to start calling us, and he did. That's a good story about Mobile, Alabama.
Appreciate that.
It is a cool town. I remember going on have you ever been on one of those? What am I talking about? Destroyers?
What's that? The plane?
No, the
ship. The ship, the plane carrier. Ain't it the plane carrier? Yeah, that's where we are.
You ever been on that? On the plane carrier?
I've been on the plane carrier.
My brain is so fried, y'all. Man, trying to organize all these draft things in my head. Aircraft carrier? Is that what we're looking at?
That's what it sounds way better. Aircraft carrier. Yeah, aircraft carrier.
And the submarine, you couldn't fit on a submarine.
Nope.
Too tall.
Red October.
The plane carrier. Yeah, the red when you hit your head on the top of the submarine, it's bleeding everywhere. All right, when we come back, you just sent us an article from Albert Breer, F-Dog.
Oh, it's good.
Yes, I did, and people are going to hear this interaction between Cam Ward and his new head coach.
Monday morning quarterback lead, and the headline is a quote from Cam: "You don't draft me, you're going to pay for it." We'll be right back with more from that. 3HL 104.5 The Zone.
Get on up and get to Kellum Stem Cell Institute. But you're probably getting up and it's a little sore. Yeah, the inflammation is tearing you up in your knees and your ankles and your back, your neck, my neck and my back. All of that can be happening, but all of it can get that inflammation up out of there with Kellum Stem Cell Institute. That's what your body's stem cells, they do the work for you. It's your body, your cells, your solution. Why would you hold the key and not use it? Make sense? You want to go through the door, don't you? Well, go through the door of pain-free. It's waiting there. Inflammation, leave it on the other side. You need to go sit down and talk to Dr. Kellum, 615-850-4415. 615-850-4415. Talk to Ethan Kellum. That's the doctor that you're going to sit down with. Now, Dr. Kellum is a stem cell specialist for the Tennessee Titans, in case you're sitting there scratching your head and wondering, just what does he do? Well, he gets information out of you. They harvest and redeploy the stem cells based on your needs. So it's a direct hit to wherever you need it to go. Ankle, knee, wherever it is to get the inflammation, boom, right out of it. Get your own testimony, though. KellumStemCellInstitute.com.
Good evening. It's 5:03. I'm Joe Spano live from the 104.5 The Zone studios. In some Titans news today, it was reported by Neil Stratton that A.J. Highsmith will not return as the director of scouting with the Titans as Mike Bergonzi continues to reshape his staff. In college football news, looking over at the Vols, Tennessee quarterback Jake Merklinger inked a new contract for NIL with the University of Tennessee. He will be in a QB battle with UCLA transfer Joey Aguilar here for the starting job coming up this fall. In NFL news, Steelers signed former Titans wide receiver Robert Woods to a 1-year, $2 million deal. For your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you need to visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Balls. This is 104.5 The Zone.
HL 104.5 The Zone, Britt Doherty, Don Davenport, Ron Slay with you. We haven't done intros today. Don is here, y'all.
What up, Babsy?
Let's go. Happy April 28th.
Are you glad that we're through the draft?
Yes.
I am too.
Me too.
But kind of sad. But I also felt like we were talking about the same crap
No.
over and over. I'm like, we all know they're going to take Cam Ward.
I know. Now you've got
Move
these
it on.
off-season mini camps coming up.
I need to go clean
No, those are fun.
Clean my whiteboard off, too.
Yeah, we'll get some time with the rookies and all
You
those
gotta
things.
save some of that.
Slay Dog is here with his whiteboard.
I'm in the building.
Slay, the GM was asked about your boy today.
Ooh, who you asked about?
Traylon Burks.
They always meddling. Mind y'all business. That's what GM. Mind your business.
Always meddling.
Keep on meddling with Traylon. Traylon out there doing his thing.
He's still rehabbing.
Well, doing his thing,
TD
yo.
asked if they would pick up his fifth-year option. Brinker said they were working through all of that, but probably not.
Yeah, see, listen. On behalf of Traylon, we don't want him to pick up our option.
You're speaking for Traylon.
Yes, I'm a representative.
Okay.
Like, we don't want no option. The option is we go out there, put in work, then come back to the table. And guess what? We ain't going to be friendly.
You going to bet on yourself?
Man, that's all we got.
Executive producer 3HL is up.
Straight up.
What's up?
Chris Lowe joins us as he does every Monday, and then we'll get to that Cam Ward article here in just a little bit. But, Chris, what's up? How are you?
What's up, guys? How are you guys?
Doing well.
What's up, CeeLo?
I'm curious, as a senior college football and basketball writer for ESPN.com, how do you consume the draft? Because, like, you've covered so many of these guys. You get to know them on a certain level. Like, how do you consume the draft?
You know, it's funny because some of them I'm like, some of the guys picked, I'm like, all right, absolutely. And then some of them are picked, I'm like, God, I can't believe they went that high. And then there's others that you're like, man, I can't believe this guy slipped into the third or fourth round.
Yeah.
And, you know, when I was covering the NFL, I can remember Bill Polian, who was a GM with the Panthers, and saying, hey, you win the draft and you win, period, in the third, fourth, and fifth round.
Yeah.
And you can't blow it in the first round. You can't swing and miss. But you go back and look through, you know, all the really good football teams, the organizations, and they all do a really good job of evaluating and, you know, sort of navigating their way through the draft and getting really good players in the third, fourth, fifth, even the sixth round. I mean, you go back through and look at players who have not gotten drafted early and have gone on to have great careers. I mean, Super Bowl teams that made the Super Bowl, successful organizations are dotted with those players.
I mean, Travis Kelce was like, wasn't he like the fourth round? Maybe third round. I can't remember on him. I know that you've seen one of the Titans draft picks for sure, Florida wide receiver Chimere DK, 6'1", 196 out of Florida. What do you remember about him? What do you think about him?
Yeah, and one of those guys that, you know, is really, really, really tough matchup, you know, for the other team. Strong, physical, can get open, good at contested catches, and a guy that's, you know, he's played with a couple different quarterbacks. So I think that's always, you know, it's a good sign that you can have production and be a productive guy when you had to play with different guys. I think those
that area of the draft and getting those guys that can make plays and not having to pick somebody like that, the first 10, 15 picks, is always big. So I like him. I really do.
He almost looked like a different player once Lagway got going. Like to me, it was kind of an afterthought until that happened, and then you're like, okay.
And that's what I mean. Sometimes it's just chemistry with the quarterback. It's a guy he's looking for you more. You got quarterback maybe has more confidence in you. And you see that a lot when a quarterback that you fit and have chemistry with steps in. Maybe it's from one year to the next. Maybe it's during the middle of the season like this still was last year. But that always makes a big difference. Listen, he's got the measurables. And, again, I think NFL is always about being able to make plays on third down, in the red zone, being able to move the football, in key downs. And I think he's a guy that will be able to do that, make tough catches.
Chris Lowe with us from ESPN.com.
Gunnar Helm, CeeLo, from Texas. What's his upside? What's his ceiling?
Well, I think a lot of upside, more than anything. And that's why, again, you start getting down into that part of the draft. It's, I don't want to say it's a crapshoot.
Yeah.
But it's, yeah. And in the NFL, when you can find that guy at that position, who can be an in-line blocker, can hold up, be a guy that can help in the run game, and can get open and make catches down the seam, make catches on third down. I think he's got a chance to do that. He's big. He's got good size for a tight end. I don't know that he's a guy that necessarily is going to split out and be a guy that's a hybrid. I hate to even mention his name because this guy, there's only one of him, but he's not like a Brock Bowers kind of guy. But I do think getting him in the fourth round when they got him, that's good value, and I think he's got a chance to play in the NFL. There are a lot of good tight ends. You go back and look at the first round. The kid from Michigan was a great player. I mean, he got picked before Warren did at Penn State. A lot of people had Warren going early. So this was a really good draft for the tight ends. And again, to get this guy who was really productive. He's a Mackey Award semifinalist, which tells you he felt like he was one of the better tight ends in the country. To get him in the fourth round, I think it's a good time to get. It was a good spot for the Titans to get him.
Guess which conference had the most players taken in the NFL draft?
Well, if you throw the Big Ten in there, you see why those are the two Super Bowls. Certainly the SEC.
The SEC for at least the last 19 years.
It's never a big surprise. The SEC recruits better than the other conference. They seem to, when they recruit though, a lot of the times they get guys that they hit on. Now you're always going to miss some, but the coaching, the staff. I mean, there's a reason you see the money paid out to coordinators, even the position coaches.
Yeah.
They develop those guys, and you talk to people in the pros, and they know. To me, there's never a ready-made player that comes to the pros. Some are closer than others, but I think when you talk to pro scouts that I have and people in that league, they know typically when they're getting a kid who played in the SEC, he's been coached well, he's been developed, and here's the big thing: he's gone up day after day against great competition on the practice field. And that's what separates, in my mind, what has separated the SEC from other conferences over the last 2 decades plus is the competition. And it's getting harder now with the transfer portal because you can't hold on to all these guys as much as you used to. But when you step on the practice field at LSU, Georgia, Alabama, Tennessee, and Texas, every day you're going up against a really good football player. And I think that's what, again, I'm not saying that, but in talking to people in NFL circles, they really like that about the kids they get out of the SEC.
Yeah, it really seems like Big Ten and SEC trying to take over the world of college football. In the first round, they certainly did. 15 SEC players, tied for the most ever in a first round. And the Big Ten, had 11? So I think that's 26 out of 32 from those two conferences. Yeah,
and I think 10 of them, if I'm not mistaken, played on the last 3 national championship teams. That's not a coincidence either. And you're right. They're not trying to take over. They are taking over those two conferences in every facet. And now I do think you're going to have a harder time. I'm sort of repeating what I said a minute ago, holding on to 8 or 9 guys, for instance, in an offensive line who all could play anywhere. Because if you're the 6th or 7th guy at LSU or Georgia or Alabama, you're probably going to get in the portal where you're going to go and be the tackle. You know, the kid at Tennessee that came hurt last year, you know, he couldn't get on the field because they had two guys, Campbell and the other kid at LSU, who both were high-round draft picks. You're going to see more of that. So you can't stockpile the way you used to with the portal and with NIL. And I remember talking to Saban about this. They lost a lot of offensive linemen over the last 2 or 3 years because of that. And other schools are going to too, because if you're a left tackle, you see yourself being a left tackle, and you can't get on the field because you got a guy like Will Campbell in front of you who started from the first day he stepped onto campus as a true freshman. You're probably going to look to go somewhere else.
Chris Lowe, ESPN.com. Thank you, Chris. Good stuff, man. We'll talk with you next week.
You bet. See you guys.
Thanks, Lowe.
All right, when we come back, we will do this. How Cam Ward erased any doubts Titans would draft him number one. Albert Breer, Monday morning quarterback. Interesting. That's next. 3HL 104.5 The Zone. DickensSupply.com is the website. Dickens Turf and Landscape Supply. Thinking about that lawn as we head into that season. They have all the advice for you. Trey Hartsook is here with more.
Hey, man, yeah, Brent, I'll tell you, it's the time of year to where right now we are seeing a lot of weeds, right? A lot of clover, a lot of dandelions, a lot of henbit, stuff that we do not want in that lawn because, hey, it takes away from our green PGT that we planted in the fall. So, hey, don't let that stuff take over your lawn this spring. Stop into a Dickens Turf and Landscape Supply. We can get you a great selective herbicide that you can go out in your lawn, spray on those weeds, and get those things out of there because I'm here to tell you, nothing kills a great lawn like some random weeds. We do not like that. They're not our friend. And, hey, maybe you have weeds out there. You don't know what they are. You don't even know if they are weeds. Take some pictures, bring them in. We love to weed ID them for you and get you exactly what you need to get them taken care of. Conveniently located in Aldermill, Tennessee. Our locations in Nashville, Hendersonville, Murfreesboro, Bellevue, Brentwood, Lumber, Mount Juliet, and Franklin. If you can't get a hold of us, check us out online, DickensSupply.com.
All right, parents, listen, have that talk with your kids. Or better yet, let me have the talk for you. You know, you give them the keys to the car, you go, you know, you walk out, you're like, oh, yeah, this is your car, big ribbon on it and everything. But do you take the time to give them this number, 615-242-9000, just in case something happens? That being an accident, yes, the kids are okay, but the car isn't. So now you got to deal with this. Parents, take a load off. Listen, put your mind at ease. Now, when you got Blair Durham and the team over at Bart Durham Injury Law fighting for you, you can rest a little easier. You know that they're going to be on top of it. Now, you need someone who's got your back, and that's why, and that's where Blair Durham and his team come in. They take care of everything from the moment you call to getting you the compensation you deserve, where you have no stress. 615-242-9000. Just in case. You got your parents' number on speed dial? Put this one on there, too. Bart Durham Injury Law.
3HL 104.5 The Zone. Brent Doherty, Don Davenport, Ron Slay.
Hey.
Monday edition.
Monday edition.
You have a case of the Mondays, or are you good?
I got a case of the M&Ms on Monday. I need peanut butter M&Ms in my life, but I got to stop eating so many sweets.
Well,
It's getting out of hand.
if you need peanut butter M&Ms, why do you have regular M&Ms?
I got those from when I went to the movies.
They don't have peanut butter there.
No, they do, but I hate peanut butter with my popcorn. So I usually take my M&Ms.
He has a whole
M&Ms and popcorn.
Yeah.
He has a process.
Yep.
What's your popcorn process?
Gee,
Go in there. I tell the people to give me half the bag up. Then I go over there, walk over there nicely, put the butter on it if they not doing it. Then I go back and tell them, okay, now you can fill it up. Then I go put some more butter on it. Then I get a bag of M&Ms. Then when I go into the movies, then I put my M&Ms in the bag of popcorn. Or if I don't feel like doing that, I eat 2 M&Ms for every handful of popcorn.
Huh.
That's pretty good too.
Is there nothing else you put in the popcorn, just the M&Ms?
Yeah, I think so.
I think so.
Yeah, I think that's it.
I think.
Do you like the movies where you can put your own butter?
Hell yeah. Yes.
I know you do.
Man.
That one in Cool Springs. You
Yeah.
can just load that thing up, man.
That's my people over there. All their butter machines don't work, but when you find the one that does, you hit the jackpot. Shout out to Thoroughbred.
Monday morning quarterback Albert Breer talking about Cam Ward, how Cam Ward erased any doubts Titans would draft him number 1. You can go read it, but I'll read some of it to you. It's pretty interesting. Last week of February in Indianapolis, Tennessee Titans coach Brian Callahan already had a pretty good idea of what was going to happen 2 months later when his team would pull the proverbial magnet off the board and call in the first pick of the 2025 NFL Draft. Still, he was reserving the right to change his mind. And this was going to be one of the moments where it might happen, the first in which he'd really challenge Cam Ward. In the weeks leading up to that night in Lucas Oil Stadium suite, he'd studied every snap of Ward's single season at Miami, the second of his 2 seasons at Washington State, and a smattering of plays and sequences from his first season at Wazoo. Blah, blah, blah. So then Ward tells the room, you don't draft me, and you're going to pay for it. So Callahan responds with, hey, man, everybody says that. That's the dumbest Shiano I've ever heard. Every quarterback in the world says that now because Tom Brady said it way back in the day. The coach then paused. Do you mean that? Is that really you? And Ward responded with, I mean it, and I stand on it.
Can't you just see him saying it after having him on our show? With a smile on his face. With a smile on his face.
In a room full of people that would intimidate most people, especially at that age.
1,000%. A room full of people that are determining your future.
Yeah, that's tough. But anyway, you can read that Monday morning quarterback.
I read through all of it.
Stand on it.
Yeah, and so here's the part that stood out to me. Okay, well there were a couple of things, but this as well. When they went to his pro day, like they had kind of already decided, but they were still doing their due diligence, turning over every rock. Callahan saw a quirk to the quarterback's mechanics on his drops from under center. Ward would take a false step. So Callahan whispered to everybody, hey, when we do the private workout, I saw this in his mechanics. I want to see if we can change it. You know, like how he reacts to us changing it. This is all in the article. You can go read it. I'm paraphrasing, obviously. And so they went for the private workout. They did dinner. Miss Amy was there because it was right before the owners' meetings. It was like a 4-hour-long dinner. Like the report said it was amazing because Cam can get along with anybody and is comfortable with anybody. It was his family and girlfriend and all of the like top Titans brass.
I wonder how much they spent on that dinner.
Oh, I can't even imagine. Yeah, right? But yeah, they said that went well because how easy it was for Ward and natural it was for Ward to just like get along with everybody. So the next morning was when the Titans worked him out. Callahan incorporated the tweak in Ward's footwork at the start of the session. By the time the group was done, the change had already taken. Afterwards, Callahan told the rest of the Titans brass that with some guys, if you've been doing things one way forever, it can take a while for them to do things another way. That was not the case with Ward. The guy's a natural athlete, Callahan said. He's one of those natural athletes that can just do it. It's not hard for him to change things, Bergonzi said. We came away thinking, man, this guy's a natural. It speaks to the conviction I had on him and that we all had.
That's an incredible story.
Mm-hmm. Because that's and we've talked about it, right? Like there's some mechanics that he's going to have to work on to be successful at the next level.
And some hero ball moments and
all of that.
Yeah.
But to see something from his pro day or from his combine or whatever, wherever he saw that misstep in his mechanics, and to be able to point it out to him in a private workout that's probably 4 hours? I mean, I don't know how long they work out, a couple hours. But to point it out and be like, hey, can you change this? Can you fix this? And for him to be able to do it.
Yeah.
That's crazy. The one example I immediately thought of was Tim Tebow. Remember, they were trying to get him to change his release because he had a slow deal. And so Noel Mazzoni was working with him at D1 in Cool Springs, could never do it. I mean, not just in one afternoon like Ward, couldn't do it ever. That's why he didn't make it.
I mean, it's hard. I'm sure that they tried to switch something in your shot, in something for basketball. It is hard when I dealt with it my freshman year at Auburn for volleyball, like serve, receive. They're trying to change, my stance or whatever. And I'm like, what? But this is how I've always done it since fifth grade,
And you're comfortable.
And you're comfortable and you do well doing things that way. And so I thought that was fascinating.
That's a really good story because that tells me so many things about him. Number one, we were talking about comfortable. He's clearly comfortable with the uncomfortable because it's an uncomfortable thing to be asked to change what you've been doing, right?
Yeah.
Did you have to do that?
I did. When I went overseas, they have a rule that when you catch the ball, say your left is your pivot, that means that's the foot that establishes you can turn on. You cannot pick it up before putting the ball down.
Oh, that's way different than the
so
NBA.
and over there, if you don't cross, if I'm going to the left, I have to cross my right leg over my left, if that makes sense. So to go, I have to. If I go to the right, they're gonna call a walk automatically, even if it's not a travel.
So if you establish your right foot as your pivot foot, you literally can't go left.
No, or you got it's gonna be a walk.
Yeah,
so you got to cross your left foot over and go over. Yeah, so it's other little, I will say.
That's interesting.
Like it's things that you got to practice on, but you also got to kind of break it down mentally. So I would go through the process of, okay, how can I do it? And you play it over and over in your head. Like you can find ways to go. If my left is my pivot, you can find ways to go right. I would throw the ball down. Instead of me going and carrying my weight and shifting the ball, I would throw the ball down and chase the ball.
How hard was it for you to transition?
It was extremely hard. Like, and then you get tired of getting walk called on you. And like, come on, dog.
I bet
I ain't
that hours though.
No, it was a lot. Yeah, it was a lot.
Where you can do it without thinking.
Yeah, because you play like that your entire life to your point. Like, why do you want to change? And it's so simple. It's like, come on, man.
Well,
and to change this.
Remember, Tiger Woods, most talented golfer ever, right?
Mm-hmm.
He was always changing his swing.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking, like, why would you do that? Why, you're winning all these tournaments. Why are you changing your swing? But, the great ones are
I think
always looking to be better.
You always try to hone in on, when you're making that change, what's the result of it? You know what I mean? Like, what's the reward? So you got to be able to find a reward in it to make you kind of snap out of it. To go for something you've been doing all your life,
well, and I'm sure Ward, just hearing all the stories about him, probably was like, okay, tell me why this needs to be this way and how it's gonna make sense. He probably dug in.
Because what he's done to this point has worked.
Right.
So for you to tell me something I got to change, well, you got to tell me why it's gonna work.
So yeah, great point. So the other thing in the article, the other interesting part, they talked about okay, we're going to grill him, the whole, that's the biggest bullshiano I ever heard. So that meeting, they also did a mashup of all of his worst plays over his career, like bad decisions, awful plays. And
I love that.
Yeah, I know, right? As one play from his days at Incarnate Word played, Ward gave the Titans their first look into how he had a brain for football that was like a steel trap. He remembered the play right away. Sometimes that happens. You always remember the bad decisions, right? He remembered the progression. He remembered the coverage. He remembered his mistake and then took full responsibility for it. As the reel continued, showing missteps at all of his stops, Washington State, Miami, whatever, kept taking responsibility. Callahan said, he's like, I probably shouldn't have done that. It was just a really cool interaction to hear him talk through that stuff. And that is when you matched up the mental part and the physical part of Cam Ward.
Yeah.
So that gives you, what a great piece, by the way.
Yeah.
by
Monday
Breer.
morning quarterback Albert Breer. Check
But
it
that
out.
gives you insight as to why they were great with letting everybody know that they're taking Cam Ward, right? There was no question in their minds at all. It seems like there was no even consideration from the combine on that they would entertain any kind of trade back offer.
Which is basically what we heard.
Not after that conversation.
Yeah.
Done deal. Book him, Dano.
Damn, let's hope as Titans fans
You
that
need
they're
it.
right.
Need it.
Yes, need this one to work, don't they?
Need it.
Well,
'Cause
hey, if it doesn't work, they're all gone.
You're setting
Everybody's
yourself
gone.
back again.
Fans, too.
615-737-1045 if you want in. Again, Mike Borgonzi met with the media today. He was asked about focusing on developmental players versus plug-and-play guys.
Well, like I said, they all have developmental, things that they have to go through here. But then once you start getting into the mid to later rounds and some of these guys, you're looking at some traits, speed at the receiver position with Ellick and DK. And, Marcus Harris is a guy that played really one big year of football at Cal. But you saw the traits on film, the quick twitch athlete that can develop. And the same thing with Mullings, too. You're looking at a guy that played linebacker for 2 years when he first came in, and really last year was really his first really workload of carrying the football. But you saw a big body there that runs hard, and you saw a lot of upside with him, and we were able to get him later on the 6th.
Borgonzi meeting with the media, talking about drafting young wide receivers to help Cam Ward's development.
Yeah, anytime you get some young receivers in here and working with the quarterback, and really the whole quarterback room, they have to develop, and they have to develop a rapport in here. So we're trying to get young guys in here that can develop and grow as we build this roster.
I guess also with the fit, too, just maybe how those receivers fit with Cam's play style.
Yeah, well, going back to Lockett, he's a guy that, a lot of extended plays that Cam has, or any of these quarterbacks really, when they work outside the pocket, Tyler's one of those guys that you can just find those open areas in those scramble drills, and you saw that over the years with Russell as well. DK is a guy that can stretch the field. Alex is a bigger receiver, he's productive in the red zone, big catch radius. And then Gunnar Helm that we took as well too. Big savvy route runner. Good in the red zone. Also, provides a quarterback a big catch radius as well, and he's got good run after the catch too.
GM talking about building this roster. Cam Ward on 3HL on Friday. Explain what he is bringing to the team.
I just think my mindset is the biggest aspect that I bring to the table. I'm a person who wants to win every game if they can. I know it's going to be adversity at the end of the day. You're not going to be able to win every game in the NFL. You play against the best of the best week in, week out. And so, we just got to have, elite communication in the locker room, and I think we're going to be able to get a lot more wins this year.
Cam Ward on 3HL delivered a message to Titans fans.
And pull up every Sunday to Nissan and to new stadium. Once we in there, we're gonna have it rocking. It's always gonna be tightened up.
There you go, Cam Ward. If you missed it, grab the podcast where you get your podcast. Rate, review, subscribe, 3HL, all of the Zone shows as well. And you can watch it on the Zone YouTube page. Very impressive guy. So,
yes, indeed. Wins you over.
You ready to have no roof yet?
I'm getting around now. Yeah, just.
Okay, when do you think that this will happen?
I gotta see. I
miss it.
I know. I gotta see some. I gotta see some on-field action.
Maybe like mini camps,
Yeah,
or
I gotta
maybe
see
training camp.
I'm pushing the training camp.
Okay.
But I can be won over in the summer by going to see a little mini camp.
Okay.
So.
Yep, they'll have the rookie camp coming up pretty soon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I need to see all this command.
Right.
All
And
of this.
how it plays out
Yeah,
and
how
what
it
we can actually
translates,
see, because
yeah.
a lot of it's going to happen behind closed doors.
Right, exactly. But if you see me come in here hyped, that means I got to peek at something.
I like it. So how do y'all think Mel Kiper's feeling today?
Stressed.
I think that he
Probably
kind of
decompressed.
embarrassed himself, didn't he?
Yeah,
That was something.
Very
That was a show.
uptight.
That was a show.
Look, I understand that was a massive story with Shedeur Sanders, but I really felt like everything turned when he said at 9 the Saints were going to take him, and they didn't. And then it almost felt like it became a personal thing with him.
Right.
Like it was up to him.
Like he got bad info, and then he was like, everybody's wrong. The NFL can't evaluate quarterbacks. They're all, everybody's wrong.
It was pretty
I was like,
amazing.
man.
It was pretty fascinating to watch that happen. I felt bad for the guy, but Dylan Gabriel went before Shedeur did to the team that drafted him.
Yeah, that's wild.
Dylan Gabriel.
Yeah, Jalen Milroe.
Where quarterbacks go to die.
Like this.
So might as well bring two of them in.
Just try.
I mean, it was really fascinating.
That's tough.
I did start flipping around to see how everyone was covering it, and I think some people, there were probably some meetings that were had to like, hey man, look, this is a big story, and this is kind of a transcendent story for sports because, when you can find those sports stories where people who watch Good Morning America and don't know football at all are paying attention to, what's going on with this Shedeur Sanders
Right.
kid?
Yeah.
You have to cover it. Like, you
Right.
have to feed the beast. But it was interesting to kind of watch how they all chose to do it, and they dialed it back a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because at some point, you're devoting so much time to a guy that hasn't been drafted. You're overlooking all of these stories of these guys that are getting drafted.
Yep.
And that should be the focus, right? But, I mean, I get it because, that Shedeur Sanders story moved the needle, but I think it probably pissed off hardcore sports fans.
Yeah, that's true.
It was a lot.
Well, so you guys know I worked the UFL game on Saturday.
Yes.
So I chatted with, my team was Michigan that I covered. And so I chatted with their GM on the field prior just to get his opinion on the Shedeur stuff. And it's Steve Kaiser, who was a scout for 22 years and then coached for 11 years in the league. He was the GM with Jeff Fisher when he was with the Rams when they were St. Louis there. And it was interesting because he was like, he was like, I think sometimes too people forget, look at stature of the quarterbacks in the league nowadays that are successful and how that plays into decision making when you're looking at a quarterback like the Josh Allens and the bigger can handle that kind of thing. And he was like, people forget that when they do their evaluations and all of this. And he's like, and then the tape basically shows you that he's not a first round guy and never was, and the media hype made it to be that, and then when you're looking at bringing a guy in who is not going to be a starter and who you want to have time to develop, then it's hard to make that decision when you have somebody who is so publicly known and a father who has such a big megaphone on top of it. And so sometimes you don't want to make that decision because of the distraction part of it when it's not a first, second round talent, that you're bringing in. It's somebody that you want to bring in to develop. And so then that plays into a decision,
Don't answer
But I
this
thought
now.
this stature question part of it about Sanders was interesting.
Don't answer this now. Answer it when we come back. But do you think there was collusion involved within the NFL and Shedeur Sanders? We'll talk about it next. 3HL 1045 The Zone.
All right, you guys have heard me talk about Zen Sports. Well, how about the major upgrade? It is now turning into VIP Play. They will offer 200 leagues to wager on, all of your favorite bet types, and you've obviously heard, hey, live now, bet, but you have not experienced live always, like VIP Play will be. Bet assured in Tennessee with a VIP guarantee. With VIP Play, everyone plays like a VIP, so 24/7 customer support from real people. You can earn entries into the Players Club. They have sweepstakes with every bet, and you'll be able to cash out a bet for full stake if the line hasn't changed. So much more. Get ready to go ahead and claim your VIP Play welcome bonus when you make your first bet on this new and improved app of $5 or more. You'll get $100 in bonus bets instantly. DAWNTN is your code to sign up with, DAWNTN. VIP Play app coming soon to Tennessee exclusively. To learn more and grab that early welcome bonus or VIP Players Club status, just head to VIPPlayApp.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-889-9789. Got to be 21 and older and located in Tennessee to bet.
What's happening, y'all? Brentwood Jewelry, where you need to head to. Go get you some nice little jewelry. Yeah, rings, earrings, bracelet, watches, necklaces, whatever you're looking for, they got it all for you. And all of it is exceptional. That's right, the style is, the deals are. Every single day has been happening for 50 years. Over 50 years, so why would it stop now? Why would you not take advantage of it? That's right. Get in there and take advantage of it at 712 Church Street East, located in the heart of Brentwood, just off Franklin Road. Whether it's coming to engagements, you're looking for that perfect ring, well, bring your partner in and go through the process. First, you ask your partner how involved they want to be. Next, you discuss the expectations. Then, if she wants to be involved, stop by Brentwood Jewelry to browse for rings together and get valuable feedback. If she wants to be surprised, start a conversation to get some essential details like ring size, style, cut, and color. They take care of it all. Brandon and the family over there, man, they treat you just like that. That is family. Go in there and take care of business. Get to BrentwoodJewelry.com.
3HL 104.5 The Zone. Cole Swindell bringing you back on the
Oh,
big
yeah.
104.5 The Zone.
He's about to have a baby. Well, his wife is about
Well, I was
to
going
have
to say,
a baby.
that'd be something. That'd be a record.
Breaking news.
Yeah. When you were a kid, did you dive into the Guinness Book of World Records?
Nah.
Yep.
I did too.
Well, y'all,
You know
y'all were trying to set the record?
Do you know what
No.
always stood out to me? The nails. When they get
so
that
gross.
long and they're circled around. Oh, yeah.
The
Does
visual
that thing
just.
still exist, in a hard form?
The
We
nails?
used to buy them at the book fair all the time.
No, I would get
the
it at
book-
the school book club
Yeah.
thing.
Like the nails.
Your nails are close right
Yeah,
now, Slay.
I need to get over there to Viva Nails quickly.
Have you seen this? The world's longest nails and stuff
It
like
looks-
that?
Yeah,
All right.
it's gross to me.
I just don't know how you function.
You can't.
No.
Can't grab anything. Can't write. Can't do nothing.
How do you take a shower?
How do you?
How do you wash your anything?
Hello. That's what I was going to say. Can't do no shakedowns.
Yeah, how do you wipe?
Can't. Need a bidet. A traveling one.
Yeah, but this book was rolling around when there weren't any bidets, man.
Yeah, so just imagine them then.
Make plans to attend a live taping of the install with Greg Cosell. I couldn't read my writing. Hosted by Buck Rising, Friday, May 2nd at the Analog at the Hutton Hotel. Titans coach Brian Callahan will be on stage as the Titans draft class will be broken down in detail. 1045thezone.com.
That'll be a good time again. That's always a good time.
Do you think it was collusion with regard to Shedeur Sanders, meaning there was a conspiracy and that the NFL put an edict out to teams, hey, don't draft this guy before the 5th round? Or
No, I
something
just
like
think I think, man, when you're able to carry something out, you don't need the NFL to tell you to do it. Just like owners and them, they know they talk. They know what's going on. They're not idiots. You know what I mean? He's a billionaire. It's got some kind of. They may do some idiotic moves, but that don't mean they're idiots. If they're in contact with each other, you can get a head nod. It's what's up? What you gonna do? Oh, you ain't doing nothing? Okay, cool. That's what's up. I ain't doing nothing either. All right, so I don't think collusion. I mean, you can say that if you want to
what
put a
you're
label
saying
on it.
is collusion, though.
Yeah, but I know if you want to put a label on it, that was close, Babs. If you want to put a label on it,
And
you can. But I just think it was overall what they were going to roll out and do.
If there
Roll
was an
fans the bus.
edict put out, I just think that, people talk, man. At some point that would get out. I don't know.
I don't know, though.
You know what's interesting, though, is that if you go back and think about, we asked Greg Cosell to break down the quarterbacks. And remember, I asked him, who's the second best tape?
Mm-hmm.
And he said Tyler Shuck, Louisville. You remember he said that?
Yeah.
And I
then
go,
he went
why?
third. And then he went third.
And what did he say? 6'5"?
Has an
He
arm.
talked about his frame.
He said he's got the traits, Babs.
Stature.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
I was shocked that
How
Shedeur went
tall
to the
is
to
Shedeur?
that point, what, 6'2", I think? 6'2", 6'3"?
Is he that tall?
I don't think he's that tall.
Yeah. Pretty sure.
Stand by.
When Dylan Gabriel went before him?
Yeah, but this is the thing.
And the Saints kept
6'1".
He's 6'1".
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is?
He's 6'1", 216.
Yeah, what is Cam is what, 6'2", 219 or something?
Something like that.
You know what I mean? So I mean this
6'2",
if you can
219.
play, you can play. And the man can play. Ain't no ifs, ands, or buts about it. The man's never been in trouble. That shouldn't have happened. That shouldn't happen.
It shouldn't
I
have
done
happened.
watched drafts in the NBA, Major League Baseball, NFL. No, nothing like that happen unless it's something that it's a point trying to be made to someone.
You know what, though? He actually ended up in a good spot.
I would have went undrafted.
Yeah.
Having gone through all
He's got
that.
a chance to contend.
Think
Yeah, I
about the
would've went
quarterback
undrafted.
room. It's Joe Flacco, Small
Who's
Hands
40.
Pickett,
Mm-hmm.
and Dylan Gabriel, who he should beat out.
Yeah, I still.
I mean, I think he's got a chance to at least be quarterback number 2 behind Flacco, and then,
Where would you have gone
he's
if you
older.
were him?
I don't know. I would have had to do the research. I ain't in that position. So I would have, but I would have wanted to go undrafted. I'm gonna need to go no 5th round. Not at the quarterback spot. I'm cool. I go make my way. You know what I mean? That would have been. I think that would have been way easy. He got enough contacts to be able to choose where you were gonna go if you were undrafted.
If he would have gone in the 3rd round, would everybody have been fine with it?
I still no. The reason I don't care what round it is who's taking before him for me. Like them dudes
That's
ain't
what
good.
players
Them dudes
always
ain't
tell
good.
you about.
Them dudes are not good. Like what have they shown on tape that he hasn't shown on film? That it ain't no. Jalen Milroe, they talking Nick Saban on there talking about he's gonna be a secret weapon at quarterback.
Well,
exactly.
I could see a
at
package
quarterback
for him.
Exactly.
Saban said that about Shador or
no about Milroe.
Jalen.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's what I'm saying. Like you can see a package for him.
Mm-hmm.
That's a gimmick.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a gimmick, which was Shador. That's what I'm saying. So all
But
these
that's
guys
what they
that went-
drafted because that's what they were looking at.
And that's what I'm saying. So
Yeah.
that's cool. But when you're talking about these guys coming in and playing the quarterback role, we can't. See, my thing is, man, we can't believe everybody, and then all of a sudden, if it doesn't pertain to what you're talking about, you can't. We asked Cam Ward, who's the best quarterback other than you? I don't feel that man is gonna lie. He ain't got no problem saying who's good, who's not. You know what I'm saying? Like he's been honest to this point. He said Shador Sanders. It ain't no question, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Come on, man.
Okay, but he's also been like training with him and stuff,
Yeah,
so he
but
knows him way
He also
better
the one
than
to scold
any
him.
other.
Yeah, he also the one to scold him.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, like, if I'm not good, you gonna tell him I'm not good. I don't need you to sugarcoat it or put no soda on it or anything. Like, give to me straight drop.
Multiple people in the chat. You can watch the show live, YouTube, Facebook Live, Twitter, and Twitch.
Twitch, please.
F&M Bank chat always open. Again, we'll be back at it tomorrow. But several of y'all mentioning Boomer Esiason's podcast where he talked about a collusion attempt by the NFL.
It's something, y'all.
That's an interesting question. If he'd have gone in the third round, how do you look at it? Because maybe it's different. Because I mean, people were talking about, at least way back, people were talking about Cleveland taking him at 2. And then how many picks did they make before they even took him? 5, according to Zeph. And they drafted a quarterback who's not as good, in my opinion, not close.
So I think we can all agree. Okay, from the tape, he's not a first round talent.
That's what Cosell said.
I mean, it's what some people have said.
Mm-hmm.
Others in the media.
His over-under
all
draft position was 21.5.
Steelers.
Because the
Yeah.
Steelers were at 21.
So why do you think? I don't think it was collusion because, like we've said, nobody cares in the NFL. They're
trying to win.
Yeah. And if they thought that he could be the quarterback to help them win, they'd take him.
But
Why do you
clearly
think
they
he
did
fell?
Because everybody wanted to stay away from him. So what's the reason there?
Hey, y'all know I know. Come on, y'all.
Because his dad's.
I don't know. It's a message being sent to someone. I don't know what it is. Shador, his dad, whoever it is. Y'all know. It's not if he was taken later in the first round, second round, third round. Those quarterbacks, he plays the quarterback position. The quarterbacks that were taken before him, outside of Cam Ward, are not better than him. It's just like that's what we got to go on, right? Y'all,
Do
what
you think
quarterback
it's
is better?
because of how he handled the pre-draft process?
No clue. I know. There's plenty people that have bombed. There's plenty of people that have bombed the pre-draft interviews and everything. Like, and they still get taken. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about this.
Back at it tomorrow. Maybe we continue this discussion on some level.
I ain't got the answer. I'm just saying. I know them quarterbacks that are taking ahead of him are not better than him.
You're getting Slay turned up now.
That's why I mentioned Coach L talking about Shuck.
I'm just saying.
Because he was the first guy to kind of tell us that, okay, this guy's number 2. And it surprised me. And it turned out he went 3rd.
Mm-hmm.
3HL bingo card.
I said, why?
Yeah, you did.
That's what I'm saying.
3HL bingo card. What do you call those things? Destroyers?
Yep.
Slay Dog came back. A plane carrier. That's what the
I mean, he ain't wrong.
the combination of our two brains came up with the plane carrier. We did ultimately come up with the aircraft carrier as the correct answer. All right, appreciate you guys including us in your day and in your lives. We do not take that for granted, nor do we take that lightly. Good night. God bless.
See ya.
Wouldn't want to be ya unless you were getting a shout out. Shout out, man, to we lost a legend, Quita Cole, man, QC Kitchen on Thursday, man, suddenly. So rest in peace to Quita Cole, man. You impacted the community, the Nashville, the Titans, everybody, man. QC Kitchen will live on.